Good evening, everybody. Welcome into Wichita, Kansas, on the campus of Wichita State University, where we have our final game of the day, the only Monday of the 91st NBC World Series. And we should have a pretty good contest in store for you this evening. It's the final day of pool play for both the Hayes Larks and for the Lonestar Kraken, and these two teams are both 2-0 in this tournament. They've won both of their games in completely different styles. Hayes has won a pair of one-run games, so it's been close calling for them, while Lonestar has won two games, both by the mercy rule, as the Kraken have just plowed through their opponents. Hayes is the defending champions in this tournament, but they're going to have their hands full here tonight. All right, we're moments away from the first pitch. Lonestar is the visiting team, so let's run down the Crossland Construction Company starting lineup for Lonestar. And JT Simonelli will lead off. He'll be the first baseman for Lonestar, and followed by Chase Penley, who's at shortstop. Josh Livingston bats third. He's at second base. Preston Curtis hits cleanup for Lonestar, and he's the center fielder. Batting fifth, Ethan Ho. Ho is behind the plate. Diego Gonzalez bats sixth, and Gonzalez is the designated hitter. Jax Marshall will hit seventh. Marshall is in left field. He'll be followed by Cato Robardi, who bats eighth, and Robardi is in right field and batting ninth. Kennert Lauterbach. Lauterbach is the third baseman. Again, the lineup for Lonestar: Simonelli, Penley, Livingston, Curtis, Ho, Gonzalez, Marshall, Robardi, and Lauterbach, with Logan Reed, the starting pitcher for Lonestar. The Lonestar lineup will look at Nolan Wilson, who is a right-handed pitcher for the Hayes Larks, and Wilson is getting in some warm-up tosses right now. He is a right-hander that appeared at Cumberland this past season, and he appeared in 10 games and put up some nice numbers. 3-1 was his record, 2.53 his earned run average. He actually pitched a couple of shutouts as well in 42 2/3 innings, 48 strikeouts and 15 walks for Nolan Wilson on the season at Cumberland. Those are some solid numbers, so Lonestar will have their hands full again tonight, you would think, with a pitcher like that. However, Lonestar hasn't been challenged much. They've played two games. They've scored a total of 19 runs. Their opponents have scored a total of 2 runs. Lonestar also has only committed one error in 2 games, and that's a big story in this tournament because there have been a lot of defensive issues. Take Hayes, for example. They are the defending champs in this tournament. They've committed 4 errors, 2 in each game. And again, they've won each game by just a run. So while they're both 2-0, Lonestar comes in playing much better baseball right now. Here we go. First pitch is in at 10:06 Central Time. JT Simonelli swings and misses at the first offering. It's 0-1. Game time temperature 83 degrees with virtually no wind at all. It was a beautiful night for baseball in South Central Kansas. Now Wilson delivers, just missing away, and the count is now 1-1 strike to JT Simonelli. Lonestar Kraken in purple jerseys with white pants, white helmets. Here's the pitch, in there for a strike. It's 1-2. Chris Dykman is the home plate umpire. Mark Wagers is down at first base, and Bob Davis is over at third. A ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch. That one is outside, a fastball at 91. That'll even the count. It's 2-2. Hayes is in their familiar red, white, and blue, but the combination tonight, blue jerseys with white sleeves, gray pants, but then blue helmets, blue hats, I should say, with red bills. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. He took something off an 81, an off-speed pitch for Wilson, and Simonelli goes down swinging for the first out of the ball game. 1 up, 1 down here in the top of the first inning. So that'll bring up Chase Penley, the shortstop. Wilson is ready, and the pitch to Penley is down and away for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. This is the 39th tournament appearance in the NBC for the Hayes Larks. These two teams really, in terms of their tournament history, at completely opposite ends of the spectrum. Here's the pitch. It's outside for a ball. And the count is now 2-0. 39 tourney appearances for Hayes. and just a handful for this Lonestar Kraken team. 2-0. Here comes the offering. And a swing and a miss. He took something off again, and these Lonestar hitters really off balance when Wilson takes something off and throws a changeup. And the count is 2 balls and a strike. The Hayes Larks, 6-time runners-up in this tournament. Their only tournament championship last year, so they're looking to repeat. Here's the pitch, a little pop-up over towards second base. C.J. Reed is there calling. He makes the catch. 2 up and 2 down here in the top of the first inning for Lonestar. So that'll bring Josh Livingston up to the plate. Again, Hayes is the defending champion in this tournament. Last year they won it. It was the first time they had won the NBC after being a runner-up 6 times. What a history for the Hayes Larks in the NBC, and they're off to a great start in 2025. Josh Livingston chops the first pitch foul at the plate, and the count to him is 0-1. Former players for the Hayes Larks include the likes of Albert Pujols and Lance Berkman. It's not a couple of bad names to have in the history of your team, and who knows what players on this year's Hayes Larks team might go on to accomplish. That's the fun of this tournament, or at least part of it, is watching these players develop later on in the majors. Here's the pitch. A fastball at 87 that misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Josh Livingston. Lonestar Kraken has won games by the scores of 9-1 and 10-1. And again, they have been great in all facets, pitching, hitting, and defense. Here's the pitch. Catches the outer edge. And the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes to second baseman Josh Livingston. Both of these teams have played Oklahoma MVP, and if you're not familiar with the outcome of the Hayes game on Saturday, wait until you hear what happened there as the pitch is outside. Hayes played Oklahoma MVP Saturday. That was their most recent game. They were down 8-3 going into the top of the 9th inning, and they scored 6 runs and held on to win 9-8. And they scored those 6 runs with only 1 base hit. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3 on a slider, down and in, and down goes Lonestar in order. So a good start for Nolan Wilson and the Hayes Larks. After half an inning, Lonestar nothing, Hayes coming up.
BMA's residential cleaning service knows there's no place like home, especially when your home is cleaned by our experienced staff. From floor to ceiling, we've got you covered. Learn more at bmasclean.com. BMA's Cleaning Sports, PBS, Kansas. Seriously good TV.
Kraken goes in order in the top of the first inning. There's a look at their pitcher, the pitcher for Lonestar, Logan Reed. Let's run down the starting lineup for the Hayes Larks. Now the home team, Lane Sparks will lead off. He'll be in right field and followed by Trent Baker, who is in left field. Batting third, Jackson Babcock. He's the first baseman. Brady Kreutzer hits cleanup tonight for Hayes. He's the designated hitter, and again hitting fourth. Lorenzo Rios bats fifth. Rios is behind the dish. He'll be followed by Caleb Duncan, the center fielder, who bats sixth. Batting seventh, Thomas Lissy. Lissy is at third base. Tabor Stokes bats eighth. He's the shortstop. And batting ninth, C.J. Reed. Reed is at second base. Again, the lineup for Hayes: Sparks, Baker, Babcock, Kreutzer, Rios, Duncan, Lissy, Stokes, and Reed. So there are 2 Reeds in the contest. The number 9 hitter for Hayes is C.J. Reed, not to be confused with the pitcher for Lonestar, Logan Reed. No relation. Logan Reed out of high school, originally went to the University of Houston, but he did not end up pitching for the Cougars. And next up for him, collegiately, will be a trip to Midland Community College out in West Texas. So that's where his next venture will be. Right now, his focus is the Hayes Larks in the bottom of the first inning of the third game of pool play in this 91st NBC. Lane Sparks steps in, and the first pitch to him is a fastball that's inside. 1 ball and no strikes to Sparks. Sparks 3 for 10 in the tournament so far. And the pitch down and away, 2 balls and no strikes. Hayes has averaged 9 hits per contest in the tournament. Here's the pitch. And that one is in there, a strike at the knees, 2-1. In their first game, they pounded out 13 hits over the Seattle Blackfins. Then Saturday they had 5. The pitch just a bit outside, and the count's now 3-1. But 2 one-run games for Hayes. Again, they knocked off Seattle on Thursday 6-5, and then Saturday 9-8 over Oklahoma. Here's the pitch. That one catches the outside edge. A changeup at 72 miles an hour is all. And the count's now full at 3-2. Lane Sparks ready and delivers. He works quickly, and the pitch chopped foul up the first base side. And the count remains 3-2. Final day of pool play in the tournament is tomorrow. The final day of pool play for these two teams is today. One of them will enter the elimination round at 3-0, the other at 2-1. The pitch inside for a ball 4. And Lane Sparks draws a leadoff walk. So he'll head down to first, and that will bring up left fielder Trent Baker. So both of these teams, again, will head to elimination play. There's no question about that. Oklahoma MVP and Seattle will battle it out for the third spot in terms of who leaves this pool and moves on to elimination play. The question is, which one of these two teams will win the pool, and which one will be the runner-up? That will be determined simply by whoever wins tonight. First pitch to Trent Baker, swung on and missed, strike 1. 0-1 to the starting left fielder for Hayes. In there from the right side of the plate is Baker. There goes the runner, and the pitch is down low. The throw to second base is high and late, and a stolen base for Lane Sparks. So Sparks gets the stolen base, and a good start for Hayes. A walk and a stolen base for Lane Sparks. He's already in scoring position. The count is 1 ball and 1 strike at the plate to Trent Baker. The pitch, and that one is down low, and the count's 2-1. Trent Baker did not play in the game on Saturday for Hayes. He did hit out of the 2 spot on Thursday and went 1 for 3 with a couple of runs scored. Here's the pitch. Changeup in there for a strike. 70 miles an hour. Boy, did Logan Reed really take something off of that one. Reed is a southpaw out of Aurora, Colorado, a suburb of Denver. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Reed will stretch. Briefly glance back at second. Once and then twice and then deliver home. And the pitch swung on and missed. And that is strike 3, and down goes Trent Baker. 84 miles an hour. I don't think that's the hardest stuff that Reed has, but it worked to get Baker to swing and miss, and that's the first out of the inning, 1 away. Now up to the plate steps Jackson Babcock. Babcock is in from the left side of the plate with a runner at second base, and now 1 away. We are scoreless bottom of the first, and Bob Babcock sends one on the ground over to short. They're going to try to throw to third and get the tag, and safe at third base is Sparks. Well, that wasn't a terrible decision by Chase Penley because he had to dive to his right, and I think he realized he wasn't going to get Babcock going to first because he had to dive deep to his right anyway at shortstop. So you might as well try to make the shorter throw to third, and it wasn't in time either. So safe at third base is Sparks. Down to first base goes Babcock. Runners at the corners for Hayes. One out here in the bottom of the first inning. And here's Brady Kreutzer, the designated hitter. And the first pitch to Kreutzer is way high and away for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Would love to jump on Lonestar early and get a little cushion because they have a couple of games, again, both decided by a run, and they've had to play catch up at times as well. The pitch just inside for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes to Brady Kreutzer, big right-handed hitting designated hitter for the Hayes Larks. Reed stretches, looks over at first, he'll throw to first, and nothing doing. Brady Kreutzer at the plate for Hayes just wrapped up a brilliant 4-year career at Fort Hays State, where he hit for his career .302, knocked home 26 homers and 97 runs batted in. What a career for him at Fort Hays State. He takes high here, and the count is now 3-0. So Logan Reed is in danger of loading the bases with 1 away. And we'll see if Kreutzer, a very accomplished hitter, is taking or if he will have the green light. The pitch, it is well high and outside, and that will indeed load him up. So Kreutzer draws the walk. Down to first base he goes. Down to second goes Babcock, and Lane Sparks remains at third. So they are all of a sudden loaded for Hayes with just 1 out here in the inning, and that quickly will draw a conversation out on the mound amongst one of the coaches for Lonestar and the entire infield. Bases loaded for Hayes, 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning of a scoreless game. But already a dicey situation for Lonestar as they're talking about it now. A game that is scoreless, but certainly Hayes is threatening here. Logan Reed is 6 feet, 180 pounds. Now he's going to work from the stretch, face the number 5 hitter in the lineup for Hayes, Lorenzo Rios, the catcher. Rios is a left-handed batter, and he gets hit with it. 1 pitch, and he's hit by it. And Rios goes down to first, taking one for the team. He'll get an RBI. In to score is Sparks. And Hayes gets one the easy way with a hit batter with the bases loaded. It's 1-0. Larks have the lead. Well, it's funny because a lot of times when a coach comes out of the dugout and chats with the pitcher, usually that settles the pitcher down and they're able to get dialed in, at least momentarily, and throw strikes, but not the case here. Is hit batter, so it's 1-0 Hayes. And now here's Caleb Duncan, and Duncan quickly falls behind in the count, 0-1. The pitch, and that one misses as well, and the count's 1-1. So some trouble now for Logan Reed. Bases loaded still and 1 out. 1 ball and 1 strike. Reed will stretch and deliver to Duncan. And Duncan takes down low, and Reed starting to see a trend here when he's missing low. And the count is now 2 balls and 1 strike. Reed through the stretch. Here's the pitch. And that one is downstairs again, and the count's now 3-1. The infield for Lonestar looks for a double play. They're playing shallow in the outfield as well, hoping a fly ball might prevent the runner at third, Babcock, from tagging, but instead there's ball 4. And down to first base goes Duncan, and Hayes will score another run without the benefit of the base hit. Well, the Larks are used to this. When they scored their 6 runs on Saturday in the top of the 9th inning, they only managed 1 base hit. They scored 6 runs with just 1 hit. Some shoddy defense and poor pitching, like walks and hit batters, is what did in Oklahoma MVP on Saturday. Good start for Hayes today. Pitching change being made already. Top of the 1st inning. We'll take a timeout with Hayes leading 2-0.
When you look for a place to learn, train, and grow, you need something that fits with your life. At Butler Community College, we want you to reach your goals in the most affordable way possible. That's why we keep our tuition rates low, so you don't have to stress about your future.
It's why we offer hundreds of scholarship opportunities for pursuing your passion.
And it's why we work hard to provide a professional higher education at a lower price tag. Butler Community College.
Real college, really affordable.
Spencer Kuhn is the second pitcher used by Lonestar, and his Kraken team has not even gotten out of the 1st inning, but Logan Reed did Kuhn no favors. He's left him the bases loaded with just 1 out. 2 runs are already in, so just like that, Hayes has jumped out to a 2-0 lead, and it's up to Kuhn to try to clean up the mess with the bases loaded, and again, only 1 out. Kuhn wrapped up recently his freshman season at Navarro Junior College. And now he's been asked to try to get into what you would consider a high leverage situation for Hayes with the bases loaded and 1 out. Kuhn's first pitch is at 88 miles an hour, but outside to Thomas Lissy, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes to Lissy. Kuhn will stretch. Infield still back at normal depth, looking for a double play. In the pitch this time on the inside edge for a strike. It's 1-1. Lissy had the big hit in the comeback win for Hayes on Saturday. He had the only base hit in the top of the 9th inning when Hayes scored 6 times. It was a bloop single down the right field line. Here's the pitch. Taken, but a strike. At 81, catching the outer edge. Count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes to Lissy. Lissy, a very experienced player at Incarnate Word University in San Antonio, where he hit .294 this past season. 3 homers, 27 runs batted in. He checks his swing here, and the bat actually made contact, and he chopped it foul over toward the third base on-deck circle. So the count's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Lissy. Lissy was with the Larks last season when they won this tournament. They're looking for a 3-0 start here, and they're off to a good start, leading 2-0. Here's the pitch. Line foul, look out. Over toward the third base dugout, he sends his teammates scrambling, and the count is still 1 ball and 2 strikes. A light breeze again out of the south, blowing towards left field. Probably not enough to make a big impact on anything hit out to left field. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and a bouncing ball out to second. Charging in Livingston. His only throw will be to first base, and he'll make that one in time for a 4-3 putout, 2 away. But in to score is Kreutzer from third, and Hayes now has built a 3-0 lead. Well, if you're Lissy, that's not the kind of contact you wanted, but it was effective enough to get an RBI and move the other runners up. Rios down to third and Duncan to second base. Now here's Tabor Stokes, the shortstop. He's up there from the right side of the plate with runners at second and third, and a time is called. Ethan Ho from out behind the plate wants to come talk to his pitcher. Tabor Stokes on Saturday for Hayes was hitless 0 for 5, but he did have a very big game on Thursday in the 6-5 win over Seattle to open up the tournament. He was 2 for 4 with a home run. He had 2 RBIs and obviously a run scored as well, so a big start to the tournament for him. Saturday, though, was a bit of a downer, so he's hoping to redeem himself here today, and he takes the first pitch at 88 miles an hour right across Main Street. It's a strike, 0-1 to Stokes. Here's the pitch. Big swing and a miss, and he's down in the count, 0-2. Stokes played at Hutch Junior College this past season, had a nice year, hit .280. 3 homers, 31 runs batted in. Heading to Ball State University next. Here's the pitch, up high. And that one misses, and the count's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Speaking of Hutchinson, the Hutch Monarchs lost in the previous game here at the NBC 9-5. Hutch does not lose many games in this tournament, but they did earlier tonight. The pitch high and tight for a ball. The count is now 2-2. Also today, San Diego Stars knocked off Dodge City 11-10, and Seattle over Oklahoma MVP 7-5. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Bounced foul outside the bag at third. So Oklahoma MVP goes 0-3 in the tournament. Seattle will move on to be the team that finishes in third place in their pool. The loser of this game will be the second place team in the pool. The winner will be the winner of the pool, but all 3 move on to elimination play. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, and down goes Stokes. But Hayes able to manufacture a couple of runs thanks to some shoddy Lonestar pitching. And after 1, Larks 2, Lonestar 0.
Have you ever needed to stop or change the way you do something you love because of aches, pains, or injury? The physical therapists at Select Physical Therapy are here to get you back to work, life, and your favorite activities. Most importantly, your goals are their goals. Their movement experts will listen and develop an individualized treatment plan so you can heal. Begin care faster by requesting an appointment today at selectphysicaltherapy.com. Experience the power of physical therapy at Select Physical Therapy.
The Taco Bell Cravings Value Menu. 10 choices, each just $3 or less. Starring the cheesy double beef burrito. Double the seasoned beef, all the cheesiness, and so much craveable flavor. Get it on the Cravings Value Menu, only at Taco Bell.
We move now to the top of the second inning with Hayes leading by the score of 3-0 over Lonestar Kraken, and it'll be Preston Curtis that'll lead things off for Lonestar, and he swings at the first pitch and sends one into left field. Moving back into his right, though, is Trent Baker, and Baker tracks it down. 1 pitch, 1 away here in the top of the second inning. So Curtis makes good contact, but Baker tracks it down for the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up the catcher, Ethan Ho. Ethan Ho played in the first game Lone Star was involved in on Friday, and he went 1 for 5. He did not play on Saturday. The first pitch is a strike, 0-1. And the next one A strike at the knees. And the count is no balls and 2 strikes. Nolan Wilson doing a good job of getting ahead of the hitter here. And now Wilson is set and ready for the 0-2 pitch to the right-handed hitting Ho. And Ho sends one down the left side. That's going to land in fair territory. Baker coming on. He'll play it on a hop. But on an 0-2 pitch, Ethan Ho sends one down the left field line. He's on at first base with a single. That's the first hit of the game for Lonestar, who was retired in order in the top of the first inning. And that'll get Diego Gonzalez, the designated hitter, up to the plate now. First pitch to Gonzalez is a changeup. That misses outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Diego Gonzalez played at Amarillo College this past season. Wasn't used a lot, hit a .167, no homers, and 5 runs batted in. The pitch. There's a strike. And the count's now even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Final day of pool play in this tournament is tomorrow. The final day of pool play for these 2 teams, though, is this contest tonight, as the pitch is hit foul over toward the first base dugout. And the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes to Diego Gonzalez. Gonzalez 1 for 8 in the tournament, so you know he's eager to try to put a ball in play and get on base. Instead, a swing and a miss, a swing and a foul ball here. Back behind the plate it goes, and he stays alive. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nolan Wilson through the stretch and the pitch. This one is swung on and a high, towering fly ball to right field. Sparks drifting over to his right. Camps under it, makes the catch. And there's 2 away. Ethan Ho went about halfway between first and second, and he'll retreat back to the bag as the catch is made in right field. So 2 outs now for Jax Marshall, the left fielder. 3-0 our score. Hayes with the lead. As the Larks only managed 1 hit in the first inning, but scored 3 times. First pitch to Marshall, misses just outside for a ball. That was reminiscent of that 9th inning Saturday when they knocked off Oklahoma MVP. They scored 6 times with just 1 hit. 1-0, here's the pitch. And there for a strike. That one a slider at 79. Count is even, 1 ball and 1 strike to Jax Marshall. Wilson ready and delivers. This bounces away from the catcher Rios behind the plate, and down to second base goes Ho. That's going to be a wild pitch, and that puts him in scoring position. It bounced in, and Rios just unable to come up with it cleanly. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the pitch down and away. And the count's now 3-1. Marshall had a nice game on Saturday. He was 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored. He also drew a couple of walks, so he was on base 4 times. And he'll reach base here. There's ball 4, up high and down to first base he goes. So with 2 outs now, things a little interesting here with Lonestar having runners at first and second. And Cato Robardi, the right fielder, is in. He's a left-handed hitter with runners at first and second. Here's the pitch. That's up high for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes to Robardi. Barty is 1 for 5 in the tournament. His lone hit came on Saturday. The pitch, outside corner, there's a strike. And the count's now even at 1-1 at a fastball at 87 miles an hour. So 1-1. Here's the pitch. And that one's going to be bounced over toward first, and it's a fair ball. Jackson Babcock has it just inside the line. Fields races to the bag and wins the race, a 3 unassisted putout, and down goes Lonestar in the top of the second inning. So they'll leave 2, and after 1.5, Hayes 3 and Lonestar nothing. To bat in the bottom of the first inning, he'll lead off the second with his Larks leading by the score of 3-0. And the first pitch to Reed is on the inside edge, a strike, 0-1. A fastball from Spencer Kuhn that catches the inner part, and it's 0-1. 3-0 our score. Hayes with the lead. Bottom half of inning number 2. Kuhn ready and delivers, and Reed sends this one to center field, but right at Preston Curtis, the center fielder, and Curtis is there to make the catch. 1 away. So back to the top of the order we go now with Lane Sparks. Hayes scored 3 runs in the first inning on the benefit of just 1 hit. But Logan Reed, the starter for Lonestar, had some issues with his control. There were some bases loaded walks, and thus Hayes the 3-0 lead with only 1 hit accomplished. First pitch to Sparks is taken. It's a strike, 0-1. A changeup on the outside part of the plate. Spencer Kuhn works exclusively from the stretch. Here's the pitch. That one is outside, and the count's now 1 ball and 1 strike. Sparks led off the game, or at least the bottom of the first inning for Hayes, by drawing a walk, and he later scored. Here's the pitch. And that one is taken inside for a ball. It's 2-1. In fact, speaking of control for Logan Reed, Sparks was at third base with the bases loaded, and he scored because Lorenzo Rios was hit by a pitch. That brought home the first of 3 runs in the bottom of the first inning for the Larks. They lead 3-0 now, bottom of the second. Here's the pitch, down and in at 90 miles an hour. A fastball is off the mark, and it's now 3-1. Kuhn stretches and delivers the 3-1. Swing and a miss, and the count's now full at 3-2. Really important for Kuhn, too, to try to retire Sparks because he's dealing with the top of the order right now. Here's the pitch. And this one is fouled back and out of play on the left side. And the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Both of these teams 2-0 in pool play. The winner of the game will win the pool. The loser will be the second place team in the pool, but both of them already guaranteed to advance to elimination play. Here's the pitch, high and away, ball 4 at 83. As Kuhn took something off, it didn't work. And down to first base goes Lane Sparks after drawing a full count walk. So that'll get Trent Baker up to the plate. Trent Baker struck out his first time up, so he is 0 for 1. And the pitch to Baker. That one crosses at 88. It's a strike, 0-1. Baker's base hit on Saturday. His only base hit was a double. There goes the runner. The pitch at the plate misses, and the throw down to second is not in time. And a stolen base for Lane Sparks, and he's down at second base. So Hayes getting aggressive on the base paths, and now they've got a stolen base as the throw hopped in, and Chase Penley had trouble fielding it on the bounce. It's 0-2 though at the plate to Trent Baker as Kuhn goes through the stretch, and now the pitch up high for a ball. Another fastball at 91. With Spencer Kuhn, it appears to be pretty consistent. He likes that fastball, and he's worked it now to his advantage. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Trent Baker. Kuhn will stretch, check the runner at second. Here's the pitch. Swung on and lifted out into shallow right field. Livingston, the second baseman, going out. He's calling. He's got it, and he makes the catch. About 80 feet outside of the edge of the infield line and on into right field. So put out number 2 and a runner at second still. And that'll get Jackson Babcock up to the plate. I mentioned the edge of the infield and not the dirt because X Stadium is all artificial surface. So the brown part of the infield is still artificial surface. It's not dirt, just colored like it. Here's Jackson Babcock taking up high for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Runner at second, 2 away. Bottom of the second inning, Hayes up 3-0, looking for more. They've got a runner in scoring position, but again, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Line foul down the left side. And it counts 1 ball and 1 strike to Babcock. Babcock reached on a fielder's choice back in the first inning, and he later scored. A ball and a strike. Here's the pitch. Change up high and outside. And boy, did Ethan Ho barely get a glove on that one. He had to get out of his crouch, stand up. Almost like a snow cone catch for the catcher to keep that one from getting away. 2 balls and a strike. Spencer Kuhn through the stretch. Here comes the 2-1. Swung on and a 2-hopper out to short. Fielded well by Penley. He'll throw to first in time. There's a 6-3 putout, and Hayes is a retire after stranding one in scoring position. After 2, though, the Larks lead 3-0. Back in a moment.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford crew.
It's the summer sales event. Great time to buy. Nice weekend, Hank?
Spectacular. Took the family camping, courtesy of Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 48 years. Morgan?
Baseball tournament. My sport with the whole infield.
How about you two?
Mud bath.
Get 0% APR financing with 0 down and 0 payments for up to 90 days on select Ford vehicles. Plus, get a complimentary maintenance plan for 24 months.
Ready for the third inning now. Kenner Lauterbach, the number 9 hitter in the order, will lead off for Lonestar. They trail the Hayes Larks by the score of 3-0. Nolan Wilson ready and delivers to Lauterbach, and the first pitch is down low for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Lauterbach, J.T. Simonelli, and Chase Penley, 9-1-2 for Lonestar, trailing the Hayes Larks 3-0 here in the top of the third. And a changeup is in for a strike from Wilson, and Lauterbach now saw the count draw even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Wilson ready and delivers, and another changeup, and that one swung on and missed. That one at 79, actually, that had enough movement, probably a slider, and it's 1-2, but nonetheless, Lauterbach was fooled. Wilson ready and delivers, and the pitch. This one is swung on and chopped up the third baseline. Charging in is going to be Lissy. He's going to try to let the ball roll foul, and it won't. It stays fair all the way. A swinging bunt single for Kenner Lauterbach as he was fooled on the pitch, but managed to still make contact. And then Lissy knew that he didn't have a chance to field it and throw to first. His only hope was to let it roll up the line and see if it would go foul. It did not. Leadoff base hit for Lauterbach. Now back to the top of the order with J.T. Simonelli. And he takes a fastball at 80 that's outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. First time the leadoff batter's been aboard for Lonestar. We'll see what they can do with it. Wilson goes through the stretch and delivers. Swing and a miss. That one at 90, and the count is now 1 ball and 1 strike to Simonelli. Simonelli led off the game striking out swinging, so he is 0 for 1. Wilson stretches and delivers. Bouncing ball back to Wilson on the circle. He'll throw to second for 1. Back to first, a double play. A 1-6-3. And just like that, the leadoff batter is erased. Well, they call it the pitcher's best friend, and it's even better when the pitcher can start the double play. Wilson caught the one-hopper, then threw a one-hop throw to second base. The shortstop Stokes was covering, and then the relay was in time. So 1-6-3, and just like that, 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Chase Penley. Penley takes a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Penley flew out to second back in the first inning, so he's 0 for 1. And the pitch low again. This gets away from Rios, and the count's now 2 balls and no strikes. Three 0 our score. Hayes with the lead. Top of the third inning. Wilson set and delivers. Change up, a strike at the knees. That one at 79. Boy, he is a good combination, Logan Wilson, of throwing stuff at 90 and then dropping back into the 70s with the changeup, and it's really got these Lonestar hitters off balance. Here's a pitch that's outside, a slider that misses down and away, and the count's now 3-1. Frank Leo, the head coach for Hayes, and it's funny because this is so far the best starting pitcher he's put out there, and now you start to see why. In the third game of this tournament, when you're in pool play, you want a pitcher out there that can be trusted and effective, and Logan Wilson is. And although there's ball 4, Wilson does have the best stuff of any of the starting pitchers we've seen so far. Having said that, Chase Penley just drew a walk, and he's down at first base. So now here's Josh Livingston. Livingston struck out his first time up to end the top of the first inning. Lonestar was retired in order in the top of the first, but they're making some noise here in the third inning, or at least trying to. The double play didn't help, but they still have a runner at first with 2 outs. First pitch to Livingston, a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Wilson set. And he delivers. Chopped foul at the plate. Boy, Nathan Wilson, Nolan Wilson, does not look over at the runner at first base. He takes a long time with the runner on, but doesn't really ever look over at first base. He's actually going to look in at the catcher, then more deliberately look toward third base. Not really a peer over his shoulder at the runner at first, who's going, and the pitch chopped foul. And the count's 1-2, and that's exactly why you wonder if he might not look over or throw over just to keep the runner Penley honest. But Wilson doesn't really ever look that way. We'll see if Chase Penley is running again. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count at the plate to Josh Livingston. 3-0 our score. Hayes with the lead. Lonestar batting, top of the third inning with a runner at first and 2 away. Here's the pitch. Outside, there goes the runner again. The throw to second and the tag, and he's safe. Oh, and that's got the Hayes fans really beside themselves. It looked like Lorenzo Rios had the throw in time, and it looked like the tag was there, but he's called safe, and we're watching a replay now, and you almost wonder if the tag wasn't applied. It looked like the throw was there, but there was a swipe tag that might not have made any contact with Penley out at second base. The count at the plate is 2 balls and 2 strikes to Livingston. Here's the pitch. Swung on and lifted out into left center field. Drifting over is the center fielder Caleb Duncan. He's under it and cracks it down. Side retired. So Hayes still has a 3-0 lead thanks in part to some good defense. A 1-6-3 double play. And we head now to the bottom of the third with Hayes still leading 3-0.
There's something happening in Wichita. Excitement, movement, a vibe. A city that offers amazing experiences delivered with heart. Come see the place we love. We think you'll love it too. Discover more at visitwichita.com.
Have you ever needed to stop or change the way you do something you love because of aches, pains, or injury? The physical therapists at Select Physical Therapy are here to get you back to work, life, and your favorite activities. Most importantly, your goals are their goals. Their movement experts will listen and develop an individualized treatment plan so you can heal. Begin care faster by requesting an appointment today at selectphysicaltherapy.com. Experience the power of physical therapy at Select Physical Therapy.
Brady Kreutzer starts the bottom of the third inning for the Hayes Larks, leading by the score of 3-0 over Lonestar Kraken. In the first pitch from Kuhn to Kreutzer is a fastball in there for a strike. Catches the outer part at 89 miles an hour. No balls and 1 strike to Kreutzer. Kuhn delivers again. Another fastball at 93 this time. Boy, he upped it a little bit and still manages to find the zone, and quickly Kreutzer is behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Kuhn works quickly, stretches, delivers the 0-2, lined out to shortstop, but snared right there by Chase Penley. Kreutzer hit that one on the screws, but right at the shortstop for the first out of the inning, and 1 away. 3 runs and a hit for Hayes. No runs, two hits for Lonestar Kraken. As Kreutzer is hitless in this tournament. He did not play in the first game on Thursday for Hayes, but he played on Saturday, and while Hayes pounded out 9 runs and 5 hits, Kreutzer was 0 for 4 and now 0 for 5 in the tournament. Lorenzo Rios is up, and the first pitch to Rios is a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Rios was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded in the first inning. So he's not got an official at bat, but he does have an RBI. Now he bounces one on one hop out to Kuhn. Kuhn reaches behind the back on the hopper, knocks it down with his glove, then throws to first in time for a 1-3 putout. What a play by Kuhn. It was a hot shot one hopper, and he went behind the back and put his glove down. He didn't catch it with his glove, but he knocked the ball down and then picked it up in an underhand scoop to first for the putout. What a play by Kuhn. So 2 quick outs here in the inning. Now here's Caleb Duncan, and Duncan takes the first pitch outside and down. 1 ball and no strikes to him. Wow, what a reaction by Kuhn out on the mound. Ball and no strikes, and now the pitch is swung on and lined into right field. That's down. That'll be a base hit. Caleb Duncan, a 2-out single, and he's on at first base. So the Larks now will try to make some noise with 2 away. And runner at first base, here's Thomas Lissy. Lissy grounded out to second back in the first inning, but he did help bring home a run, so he's got an RBI. He's 0 for 1. Left-handed hitter. And the pitch to Lissy is chopped foul over toward the first base dugout. One of the Lonestar members of the team grabs it on a hop in the dugout, 0-1. Lissy again, a bloop single down the right field line that helped keep the inning alive for Hayes in their 6-run 9th inning Saturday when they won 9-8. There goes the runner. The pitch is up high. The throw down to second is late. And then Penley drops the ball anyway, trying to apply a swipe tag, and Caleb Duncan has stolen base. He's down at second base now with 2 away. So Hayes now has a runner in scoring position, trying to add to their 3-0 lead here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Kuhn through the stretch, not really concerned with the runner at second. The throw home is down and in for a ball. And the count's now 2 balls and 1 strike. Hayes 2-0 in this tournament. So is Lonestar. Both teams already assured of advancing to elimination play. Here's the pitch, swung on and driven to right field, but Robardi is going to backtrack and track it down for the 3rd out of the inning on a fly out to right field. So a 2-out single, but no damage done for Hayes in the bottom of the 3rd inning. After 3, Larks 3, and Lonestar nothing.
The Taco Bell Cravings Value Menu. 10 choices, each just $3 or less. Starring the cheesy double beef burrito. Double the seasoned beef, all the cheesiness, and so much craveable flavor. Get it on the Cravings Value Menu, only at Taco Bell.
Ready to start the 4th inning, Preston Curtis leaves off for Lonestar Kraken with his team trailing the Hayes Larks by the score of 3-0. And the first pitch from Nolan Wilson to Curtis is a changeup that crosses the plate at the knees, 77 miles an hour, but a strike, 0-1. Wilson set and delivers the 0-1. And a swing and a miss. Another changeup, that one at 77. And quickly Nolan Wilson ahead in the count at 0-2. And again, Wilson really changes up his speeds well. Some changeups at less than 80. Now a slider down and away at 81, but when he goes fast, he's in it close to 90. But the count here is 1 ball and 2 strikes to Preston Curtis, who flew out to left his first time up. Here's the pitch. That one at 79, but misses down and away. So 2 straight balls after 2 straight strikes thrown by Nolan Wilson. Preston Curtis played this past season at Central Arkansas only in 2 games and 6 at-bats. And he went 0 for 6. 2-2. Here's the pitch. Down low and away again. So after getting ahead in the count, Nolan Wilson has thrown 3 straight balls, all of them outside and low, and the count's now full at 3-2. Wilson set and delivers the 3-2, and this one is fouled back over toward the right side. It's going to reach over the backstop and out of play. So the count holds 3 balls and 2 strikes. A very light breeze out of the south. The flag in right field is just barely moving. Under 10 miles an hour is the breeze, so if anybody hits one to left, it won't get much help from the wind. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Wilson puts the glove in front of his face, now starts his windup and delivers, and the pitch just missed away, and that's ball 4. And a leadoff walk for Preston Curtis, who trots down to first base. Well, Lonestar making a lot of noise in the dugout, wanting to try to rally the troops, and we'll see if that helps because they did draw a leadoff walk. So now here's Ethan Ho, the catcher, up there from the right side of the plate, and the first pitch to Ho is chopped foul over toward the third base dugout. 0-1 to Ho. Ho singled his first time up, so 1 for 1 for him. Wilson set and delivers. And another one he took something off on, and that's a strike, and the count is 0-2. So quickly, Ho is behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Wilson ready and fires home, and Ho chops one over to third. Lissy's going to go to second for 1, over to first, a double play. 5-4-3, Taylor made, as Lissy alertly caught it and knew he had time to throw to second, and then the relay from Reed to Babcock in plenty of time, and a twin killing. So the leadoff walk erased, and now nobody on and 2 outs for Diego Gonzalez. Just what the doctor ordered if you're Nolan Wilson. Now Gonzalez is up there. And the first pitch to the left-handed hitter is inside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. This is, again, all artificial surface, and so you'll see more double plays here than maybe these teams are accustomed to because the ball just simply gets to the infielder so quickly with these quick hops. Here's the pitch. Fastball at 86, but misses outside. You'll also see, especially the middle infielders, play a little bit deeper than normal because the ball can have some overspin or just in general get to them more quickly than what it would on grass. Here's the 2-0 pitch, high and away, ball 3. For example, right now, C.J. Reed, the second baseman, and Tabor Stokes, the shortstop, are playing far deeper than what they normally would. Again, I don't want to say they're playing out on the grass and not in the dirt because this is all turf, but you get the idea. They're playing very deep. Here's the pitch, a changeup that misses outside. There's a 4-pitch walk to Diego Gonzalez, and he's on at first base. So a runner at first with 2 outs now for Jax Marshall, the left fielder. Marshall yet to have an official plate appearance. He walked in the second inning. Time was called momentarily. Lorenzo Rios from out behind the plate to talk to his pitcher. And now Wilson is ready and delivers the first pitch to Marshall. That's in there. It's a strike, 0-1. Each team with 2 hits in the game, but Hayes with 3 runs. Lonestar is yet to have anything to show on the run column for their 2 hits. Here's the pitch. Down and away, and the count's now even, 1 ball and 1 strike. One and one, and the pitch. And that one misses down and away again, and when Nolan Wilson throws that change, he seems to be missing it consistently, either low or outside or both. 2 balls and a strike. And here comes the pitch. That one was starting to tail down and away, but it was swung on and fouled back as Marshall just got a piece of it. Counts even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch, up high, ball 3, excuse me. I was reading Chris Deckman's mind. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The count's now full. So the runner at first will be going. That's Gonzalez with the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes and 2 outs. Here's the full count pitch as the runner goes, and there's strike 3 called. No question about that. And the side is retired. So Gonzalez gets stranded at first. Marshall caught looking, and down goes Lonestar. After 3-0, Hayes with the lead.
The Taco Bell Cravings Value Menu. 10 choices, each just $3 or less. Starring the cheesy double beef burrito. Double the seasoned beef, all the cheesiness, and so much craveable flavor. Get it on the Cravings Value Menu, only at Taco Bell.
Out one more time. Press the out button one more time. There you go.
We move now to the bottom of the fourth inning, and the first pitch to Tabor Stokes is swung on and fouled out to the right side, and that one is out of play. No balls and no strikes to Stokes, with his Hayes Larks leading by the score of 3-0 as we start the bottom half of inning number 4. Matthew Hedrick is the new pitcher in the game for Lonestar. And Hedrick most recently appeared at McLennan Junior College down in Waco, Texas. Here's the 0-1, and that one outside, and the count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. So Hedrick is on after completing his freshman season at McLennan. No numbers registered for him on their website. So it appears as if he's at McLennan, but has not yet appeared in any action. 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Swung on and lifted high into right field. Cato Robardi calls for it. He's under it, and he makes the catch. 1 away. Final day of pool play again for the pool that these two teams are in. And the Seattle Blackfins knocked off Oklahoma MVP earlier. So Seattle moves on to elimination play. Oklahoma will head home. Both of these two teams will advance to elimination play. The only question is which team will go in at 3-0 and which team will go at 2-1. First pitch down and away to C.J. Reed. 1 ball and no strikes to Reed. Reed flew out to center field his first time up. He is 0 for 1. Reed is now 0 for 7 in the tournament. Here's the pitch. Up the middle and through into center field for a base hit. Well, maybe that was a positive jinx, talking about his hitless tournament. Then he comes through with a base hit into center field. And C.J. Reed now 1 for 8 in the tournament, and he's on at first base with the 1-out single. So a runner at first, 1 out now, and that flips it back to the top of the order with Lane Sparks. Sparks has been on base both times tonight, both times via a walk. So no official at bat yet for him. Here's the first pitch. And it's down low for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Sparks walked in the first inning, stole second base, then eventually came around to score. That was when Lorenzo Rios was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. A ball and no strikes. And the pitch. That one again down low, and the count's 2-0. Sparks actually walked in the second inning and again stole a base, so he is not yet to register an official at bat, but he does have 2 stolen bases and a run scored. He's ahead in the count here, 2 balls and no strikes. And the pitch, a fastball at 88, that's outside, ball 3, and now Sparks is on the verge of getting walked for the 3rd consecutive time. He's up there for the 3rd time tonight in the 4th inning, and he might be about to walk again. Here's the 3-0 pitch. It misses outside. A fastball at 85 and a 4-pitch walk, and down to first base goes Lane Sparks. So after a fly ball to center field and an out to start the inning, back-to-back walks issued now by Matthew Hedrick. So it's 1st and 2nd for Trent Baker, the left fielder. Baker steps in from the right side of the plate. Hayes leading by the score of 3-0. And Hedrick will work from the stretch. Infield looks for a double play. And here comes the pitch. And that one right across the plate. 0-1. Baker is 0 for 2 tonight. He has struck out and popped out to second. Hedrick looks back at second again. Nobody holding the runner on Reed, and here comes the pitch home. Swing and a miss at 86. The fastball works for Hedrick, and he's ahead in the count now. No balls and 2 strikes. Trent Baker did not play on Saturday in the win over Oklahoma MVP. He was 1 for 3 on Thursday. The pitch swung on and fouled back to the screen. So the count remains no balls and 2 strikes. 3 runs on 3 hits for Hayes. No runs on 2 hits for Lonestar. Neither team has yet to commit an error. 0-2, and the pitch. Change up at 80 and a swing and a miss, and after throwing some in the high 80s, Hedrick took something off right there, and Baker swings and misses, and down he goes. He's 0 for 3 tonight, and there's 2 away. First strikeout now for Matthew Hedrick since coming into the game. 2 outs now for Jackson Babcock. First pitch to Babcock, he has a swing and a miss on a fastball at 87. 0-1, and Matthew Hedrick doing a good job now of throwing a steady diet of fastballs across, and these Hayes hitters are behind it. 0-1 here. Hedrick ready and delivers again. And there's another one that catches the outside half. 0-2, that one at 85. Now does he bring the heat again, or is his out pitch the changeup like it was with the last batter, Trent Baker? 0-2, we'll see. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. He did take a little bit off at 82, but that one tailing down and away to the left-handed hitter. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hedrick looks in to get the sign, looks back at second, looks back a second time. Now the 1-2 pitch. That one bounces in, and it gets away from Ho, and the runner at second is going to try to advance, and he will. Staying at first base is Lane Sparks. So Reed advances on the wild pitch. Sparks does not, and now with the count 2 balls and 2 strikes, runners at first and third with 2 outs. Jackson Babcock at the plate. So he's going to try and protect it now. Let's see if he can also move those runners around, including one who's at third base. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 on and 2 outs. Here comes the pitch. Swung on and missed, and they're going to have to throw to first, and Ho does in time as that one bounced in. So the strikeout recorded, and it goes 2-3, and Hayes leaves 2, 1 at each corner. After 4, Hayes 3, Lonestar nothing.
At Evergy, we're focused not just on what we power, but on who we power, right here in our community. We provide payment assistance to our neighbors who need it. Invest in organizations and people, creating opportunity for all to benefit. And volunteer our time around our hometown so that together we improve it, because we're committed to spreading good energy throughout our community. Evergy, the utility company.
BMA's residential cleaning service knows there's no place like home, especially when your home is cleaned by our experienced staff. From floor to ceiling, we've got you covered. Learn more at bmasclean.com. BMA's Cleaning Sports, PBS Kansas. Seriously good TV.
A good one we have from X Stadium tonight in Wichita as we head to the 5th inning. It is the Hayes Larks 3 and the Lonestar Kraken team from Texas nothing. And Cato Robardi will lead things off for Lonestar here in the top of the 5th inning. Robardi, Kenner Lauterbach, then back to the top of the order with JT Simonelli. 8-9-1 as Lonestar tries to make some noise offensively tonight against Nolan Wilson, that's not been easy, and Wilson delivers a first pitch strike at 82 miles an hour. 0-1 to start the top of the 5th inning. Wilson is ready again, and here comes the 0-1, and that one comes inside, and the count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. Hayes with 3 hits, Lonestar with 2. It's been a clean defensive game. Neither team has committed an error. And the pitch, a changeup on the outside edge at the knees, that one at 76. And the count's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wilson set, delivers another off-speed changeup down and away at 78. And he's thrown 2 straight balls, and the count's now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Swung on and a bouncing ball over on the right side and through and on into right field for a base hit. Well, Babcock, the first baseman, went to his right. He couldn't get there in time. C.J. Reed, the second baseman, bolted out to his left, and he got there a little bit late and was able to just get a glove on it, sliding down to the turf. Then it caromed off of him and on into right field. So that'll be a base hit, and that'll even the hit column at 3 each. Cato Robardi on with the leadoff single here in the top of the 5th inning. And now the number 9 hitter in the order for Lonestar, Kenner Lauterbach, is in. And Lauterbach takes a first pitch strike, a fastball at 86. No balls and 1 strike to him. Lauterbach singled back in the 3rd inning, so he is 1 for 1. 0-1. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled. Straight back behind the netting, out of play. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. Lauterbach started play tonight. 2 for 8. He was 0 for 4 and 2 for 4 in the 2 games previous. He's going to send one in the air to center field here, and tracking it down is Caleb Duncan, and there is out number 1 of the inning. So Lauterbach, a fly out to center field, well struck, but Duncan was right there, and now back to the top of the order with J.T. Simonelli. Simonelli grounded into that 1-6-3 double play back in the 3rd inning. Hit a bouncer back to Nolan Wilson, who started it. Now he's going to line one fair down the right field line and into the corner. This one's going to be extra bases. Robardi rounding second. He's on his way to 3rd. Down to second base goes Simonelli, and a 1-out double for Simonelli puts 2 in scoring position for Lonestar. Well, that was a hot smash right down the right field side, and too quick for Babcock to react, and before he knew it, the ball was down in the corner, and now 2 runners in scoring position. Simonelli at second base, and down to 3rd, Robardi. So here's Chase Penley now with a chance to do some damage and get his team on the board, but first a timeout's been called, and there will be a conversation out on the pitcher's mound. With that double, Lonestar has now out-hit Hayes 4-3. But the Larks, much like their game on Saturday, have benefited from some poor pitching with runners on base, and particularly with the bases loaded. That's how they scored back in the 1st inning. Of course, Hayes scored 6 times in the top of the 9th inning with just 1 base hit. It wasn't to that extreme in the 1st inning, but nonetheless, the Larks able to score their first run of the game when Lorenzo Rios was hit by a pitch. And then Jackson Robardi was able to score as well. Caleb Duncan came up to the plate. Duncan did drive him home. And then Thomas Lissy hit a ground ball with a runner at 3rd that brought another home. So Hayes been able to find a way to score without stringing a bunch of hits together. Now Lonestar has runners at 2nd and 3rd, and the potential tying run is up at the plate in Chase Penley with runners at second and third. Here's the pitch. Lifted into shallow right field. Sparks is charging. He's going to get there. He'll make the catch. The runner from third is going to tag, and here comes the throw, and he'll be safe. A sacrifice fly, RBI for Penley, and Lone Star's on the board. It's 3-1. So Penley gets the RBI. Sparks came on, and it was to shallow right field. Peabody was tagging, and Peabody came home, and really Rios, the catcher, had a chance to play that ball on a hop and apply the tag, but he dropped the ball. But the throw was in time. It was a little bit up the line. Had Rios been able to scoop it up and apply the tag, Peabody would have been out, but it's 3-1. Now here's Josh Livingston. Livingston takes a strike, 0-1. So 2 outs in the inning. Staying at second base, by the way, is JT Simonelli. So he's still there, but a run is in for Lone Star here in the top of the 5th. They're now down by 2. It's 3-1. 0-1 the count to Livingston, and the pitch is a changeup down and away, and it's 1-1. One and one with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. Lone Star is finally scratched across a run. Now here comes the pitch. Fastball just misses outside as Rios tried to frame that one. And the 86-mile-an-hour fastball, says Chris Dykeman, was just a bit away. And the count's now 2-1 strike. Preston Curtis, the cleanup hitter for Lone Star, waits on deck. Nathan Wilson stretches and tosses home. Another changeup that misses outside at 76. And the Hayes faithful did not like that as it was close. Rios tried framing it again, but Dykeman did not give them the benefit of the doubt. And it's now 3 strike. So Wilson will stretch again and deliver home, and this one is one hopper over toward first. Nice play by Babcock. He'll toss to Wilson, covering the bag for a 3-1 putout. Nicely done by Jackson Babcock. Well, third base is the hot corner, but Babcock played first like it was, and the side retired. But Lone Star scores a run. They leave one in scoring position. After 4.5, Larks 3, Lone Star 1.
Love was nearly lost until Pizza Hut showed up.
Go get her. Hi, I'm Peter.
Looks like a meat lover's Deborah.
Pizza Hut's hooking everyone up with more of what they love. Choose from 4 Hut Lovers pizzas starting at $12.99 each. Order on the app.
When you look for a place to learn, train, and grow, you need something that fits with your life. At Butler Community College, we want you to reach your goals in the most affordable way possible. That's why we keep our tuition rates low, so you don't have to stress about your future.
It's why we offer hundreds of scholarship opportunities for pursuing your passion.
And it's why we work hard to provide a professional higher education at a lower price tag. Butler Community College. Real college, really affordable.
Halfway home from X Stadium in Wichita, the Hayes Larks leading Lone Star Kraken by the score of 3-1. And Brady Kreutzer will get things started for the Larks here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And the first pitch that he sees is going to be down low for a ball, 1 ball and No strikes from Matthew Hedrick, who came on in relief in the last inning, and now he's there again to start the bottom of the fifth. Hedrick is a lefty that always works from the stretch, and he will do that here and deliver down and in for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. Kreutzer is 0 for 1. He lined his short his last time up and walked and scored back in the first inning. What a stellar career he had again at Fort Hays State. Hit above 300, played there all 4 seasons. The pitch up high for a ball, and the count's now 3-0 to the big right-handed hitting Kreutzer. You just don't see a lot of 4-year players in any sport at college level anymore with the transfer portal, but Kreutzer stayed there all the way and put up some very good numbers in his home state. Here's the pitch, and a fastball catches the outside edge at 88 miles an hour. And the count is now 3 balls and 1 strike. Not only was it his home state that Kreutzer played at Fort Hays State in, but he was from Hays, Kansas. It was his hometown. Now he's in Wichita trying to help out the Hays Larks. 3-1, and the pitch. And that's ball 4, and down to first base goes Kreutzer. Well, that one was close, and Ethan Ho tried to frame it, but a bit inside, so a trip to first base for Kreutzer and a leadoff walk to start the bottom of the 5th inning. And that will get Lorenzo Rios, the catcher, up to the plate for Hays. Rios, a left-handed hitting catcher, hovers right over the plate with both feet right up against the edge of the batter's box, and he squares to bunt here, but bunts it backwards. And it takes a hop, and Ethan Ho catches it behind the plate, coming up out of his crouch to do so. So no balls and 1 strike, and we'll see if the bunt is on again with the count 0-1. No wind tonight at X Stadium. The flag in right field hardly moving at all on a beautiful night for baseball. When the game started, the temperature in the low 80s, and it's still there now at 81. Here's the pitch. And this one is a slider that bounces in and gets away from Ho. And it moves over toward the third base on deck circle. And down to second base goes Kreutzer on the wild pitch. Well, that one just gave Ho no chance right there. It was about 58 feet to the plate from the pitcher's rubber. And Ethan Ho tried to short hop it. But on this turf with the ball spinning like that, not always easy. And it trickled off over toward the on-deck circle on the third base side. So Hays with a runner in scoring position now. 1 ball and 1 strike the count to Lorenzo Rios. Will Rios be showing bunt? He does, and he bunts it foul again. It bounced behind the plate again, and it's 1-2. So in both bunt attempts for Rios, he made contact, and it bounced backwards. So he's hitting the bottom of the bat with the ball and unable to put it into play. And likely the bunt will be off now with 2 strikes. They play in even with the bag at the corners. Normal depth up the middle with the count 1-2 and a runner at second. Here's the pitch. A fastball that, boy, it really looked like Hedrick overthrew that one. It was down and away, never had a chance. And the count's now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 3-1 Hays with the lead. Larks looking for more. They are the defending champs in this NBC World Series and trying to make it a repeat. So far, they're 2-0 in the tournament. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and a bouncing ball over to short. To his right is Penley, and now he will not have a throw, as it was a slow bouncing ball, and over to first base, he opted not to throw because Rios was moving up the line quickly, so he tried to throw to third after the runner there. Kreutzer rounded the bag and came back, but that throw was late. So an infield base hit for Lorenzo Rios, and that puts runners at the corners with nobody out. Well, you can't fault Penley there. He was the shortstop moving in and to his right on a slow bouncing ball. Knew he wasn't going to get Rios at first. The only thing he could do was try to go to third, and that was to no avail as well. Here is Caleb Duncan now, and Duncan takes the first pitch for a strike. There goes the runner to second. He stops, then starts again and steals the base because the shortstop Penley caught the ball from the catcher and then looked to third to make sure that Kreutzer wasn't going home. He wasn't, but when Penley stopped to look at third, Rios swiped second base all the way cleanly, and now runners at second and third. Well, if Penley had just taken the throw at second base, they might have gotten Rios for a caught stealing 2-6. But Penley decided not to stay at second and run in towards home plate and catch it and see if they could get Kreutzer coming home, but Kreutzer wasn't, so a stolen base for Rios. Now the pitch at the plate is to Duncan, and he swings and sends one into shallow right field. Charging in is going to be Robardi, and he'll make the catch in shallow right field up the line. The runner Kreutzer holds at third. So a big first out here in the inning, as Duncan could not send one deep enough down the line in right, and everybody stays one away. Well, that was a nice job by Cato Robardi in right field, charging in near the line, making that catch on a fly ball, and he was on the dead run when he caught that too, but shallow enough that Kreutzer did not try and tag and score. So runners at second and third, one away, the infield playing in for Lonestar, and up to the plate now is Thomas Lissy. And Lissy sends one to deep right field. This one is well struck. This is going to send Robardi back deep enough that Kreutzer will try and score. Here comes the throw, and it's cut off. He will score on a sacrifice fly for Thomas Lissy. He'll get the RBI, and Hayes has grabbed a 3-run lead. It's 4-1. Well, Robardi had to go in for the previous fly ball, but had to backtrack for this one, and there was no chance of getting Kreutzer coming home. So Robardi threw it back to the infield, but no chance to get either the runner coming home or the runner Rios that's now at third base. So a 4-1 Hayes lead with a runner at third now for Tabor Stokes. 2 outs in the inning. As Hedrick works from the stretch and delivers, and it gets away from Ho. Here comes the runner coming home from third, and he's safe. Lorenzo Rios hustling down the line. That did not trickle very far away from Ho up the first baseline on a pitch that was low, only maybe about 10 or so feet up the first baseline. But Rios runs with good speed, and he slid home safely. And now 2 runs have scored for Hayes here in the inning, and they lead by the score of 5-1. One ball and no strike. The count at the plate in the meantime to Stokes, who sends one foul and out of play. But what hustle by Lorenzo Rios on a wild pitch. But again, it did not trickle that far away from Ethan Ho. But Rios, who's a catcher himself, runs with good speed, and let's not forget he stole second base and then advanced to third on a sacrifice fly to right field, and then comes home on a wild pitch. The pitch here is a strike taken to Tabor Stokes, and Stokes is down in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. So a 5-1 Hayes lead, bottom of the 5th inning. Hedrick is ready and delivers, and this one is up high for a ball, and the count's now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Tabor Stokes, who is 0 for 2 tonight. He has struck out, and he has flied out as well. Stokes had a big home run on Thursday in the Larks 6-5 win over Seattle. The pitch, sliced foul down the right field line. The first baseman Cimarelli is there in fair territory. He can't come up with it. And now down to second base is going to go Stokes, and he's there safely. Cimarelli was moving down the first baseline, trying to catch that, and it's not the easiest of plays to make. His back was to the infield on a slicing fly ball down the right field line, but he started to slow down, and then right at the last minute moved back into fair territory and got the heel of his glove on it, but that was it. Cimarelli could not handle it, and that will put Tabor Stokes down at second base. That also will lead to a pitching change, so we'll take a timeout. Hayes now has opened up a 4-run lead, and they may not be through with the runner at second base here in the bottom of inning number 5. Cade Irons is the new pitcher for Lonestar Kraken, now trying to stop the bleeding for his Lonestar Kraken team as they trail the Hayes Larks by the score of 5-1. 5 hits now for Hayes, and that play by the first baseman, JT Simonelli, was ruled a base hit, and I think that's the right call because that was a tough play for Simonelli that puts Tabor Stokes at second base. And now the first pitch to CJ Reed is going to be a bouncer to first base, fielded there by Simonelli, who touches the bag for a 3 unassisted, and the side retired. But Hayes scores a couple more. They lead by 4, 5-1 Larks as we go to the 6th.
At Evergy, we're focused not just on what we power, but on who we power, right here in our community. We provide payment assistance to our neighbors who need it. Invest in organizations and people, creating opportunity for all to benefit. And volunteer our time around our hometown so that together we improve it. Because we're committed to spreading good energy throughout our community. Evergy, the utility company.
Love was nearly lost until Pizza Hut showed up.
Go get her. Hi, I'm Peter.
Looks like the meat lover's different.
Pizza Hut's hooking everyone up with more of what they love. Choose from 4 Hut Lovers pizzas starting at $12.99 each. Order on the app.
And the first pitch from Nolan Wilson to Curtis is swung on and bounced up the middle and through for a base hit. Well, Curtis wastes no time dealing with Nolan Wilson. He rips one up the middle and is on with a base hit to center field to start the top half of inning number 6. That's the third time in 6 innings that Lonestar has able to get their leadoff hitter aboard, but so far in the game, they've got 1 run up on the scoreboard. And now here's Ethan Ho, the catcher. And he swings at the first pitch and sends it foul outside the third base coach's box. 0-1 to Ho. Ho singled his first time up and then grounded into a 5-4-3 double play back in the 4th inning. Nolan Wilson stretches and fires home and a swing and a miss on a changeup at 76. And it's 0-2. And again, it's interesting to watch Nolan Wilson. He does not look over at first base with a runner on first. He is not the slightest concerned about that. There goes the runner. The pitch is a slider that gets away from Rios, and safe at second base is going to be Preston Curtis with a stolen base. We've seen a lot of change-ups and fastballs, not too many sliders. Maybe that's why it got away from Rios, and down to second base goes Curtis, and that was the perfect pitch for Curtis to go on, being that it was a slider mishandled by the catcher. Now here's the 1-2 pitch, and that one is way outside and low, and the count's now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. When you get to this part of the game also, you start to wonder about the pitch count and if the pitcher is running out of gas. Wilson so far does not seem to have the same command he's had earlier in the contest. This one is down and away again, and the count's now 3-2. When he did deliver one across the plate earlier this inning, it was sent to center field on the ground by Preston Curtis for a base hit. Now Wilson is faced with a 3-ball, 2-strike count. Nobody holding the runner on at second, and here comes the pitch. Swung on and fouled, backing out of play, and the count holds at 3-2. 5-1 our score. Hayes with the lead, top of the 6th inning. Larks trying to move to 3-0 as they advance into elimination play, but so is Lonestar. Both of these teams at 2-0. Both of them have already qualified for the elimination round. There's a swing and a foul tip into the glove, or nope, staying alive is Ho. I beg your pardon. He just got a piece of it and fouled it back, so the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Lorenzo Rios had that in the glove. It was tipped and then didn't squeeze it in, and that's the reason that Ho is still alive. Another 3-2. This one is high and tight. Ball 4, and an enthusiastic swing of the bat toward the dugout for Ho as he makes his way down to first base. And Lonestar now starting to sense that maybe Nathan Wilson is starting to lose it a little bit. A base hit and a walk to start the 6th inning. And now a conversation will take place out on the mound, and so will a pitching change. Indeed, that's going to be it for Nolan Wilson. He was very good to this point, but now his day is done. He's responsible for the runners at first and second base. Pitching change being made, top of the 6th inning with the score, Hayes 5 and Lonestar 1. Well, an interesting situation here. Dalton Campbell is the left-handed pitcher for the Hayes Larks that's going to come on in relief. He's pitching collegiately at Oklahoma City College, but you can see there he's from Liberty Hill, Texas, which means he's going against a bunch of guys from Texas, some of which he may be familiar with. Right now, he's trying to restore order for Hayes, who leads 5-1, but here in the top of the 6th inning, nobody out, runners at first and second. And Diego Gonzalez, the designated hitter, is the hitter for Lonestar. The first pitch to Gonzalez misses for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Campbell this past season at Oklahoma City appeared in 11 games, 3 of them he started in, but only logged a total of 15 2/3 innings as a conversation now takes place with his catcher Rios and Campbell, just making sure those two are on the same page with him just coming into the game. Campbell was 1-2 in 11 appearances this season with 3 starts and an earned run average of 10.9, but a little deceptive with not much of a sample size again, only 15 2/3 innings pitched. He works from the stretch, and Hayes desperately looks for a ground ball double play, and the pitch is down and away for a ball, and it's 2-0. So Campbell has come on and not thrown strikes in either of his pitches. He's behind in the count 2-0. And now the Lone Star dugout really starting to make some noise as they can sense a chance for some momentum. The 2-0 pitch. There's a fastball that misses. It was at 89, but it was not in the zone according to Chris Dykman, and the count is now 3-0. Lone Star is on the verge of having him loaded. Here's the 3-0 pitch. There's a fastball in for a strike at 91. And the count is now 3 balls and 1 strike to Diego Gonzalez, who is 0 for 1. He has flied out and walked. Here's the pitch. There's a fastball that just misses away, and there is ball 4. And down to first base goes Gonzalez, down to second base goes Ho, and down to third base goes Curtis. And they are loaded now with still nobody out here in the top of the 6th inning for Jax Marshall, the left fielder. Marshall represents the game-tying run, and the first pitch to him is a fastball high and away. That one hit 90, but high and away to the right-handed hitter. 1 ball and no strikes to Marshall. Marshall has walked and struck out 0 for 1. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Another fastball. This one is across but high, and the count's now 2-0. At 91, Campbell is getting it across the plate, but too high that time. So another high leverage pitch for a hitter. The 2-0 is way up high again. Not even close, and it's 3-0. You would have to think that Jax Marshall is taking all the way here because Dalton Campbell cannot find the zone. Why give him a free chance when he's throwing balls anyway? But we'll see. 3-0 with the bases loaded. The pitch. And there is ball 4. Across again, but above the letters, a bases loaded walk, and that will bring home the second run of the game for Lone Star as Curtis scores from third. Down to third base goes Ho. Down to second goes Gonzalez. An RBI for Jax Marshall, and he gets one with a bases loaded walk. And now that's going to, it looks like, bring up another pitching change. Indeed it is. So the night for Dalton Campbell was very short. He will exit, and another pitching change here in the 6th inning. With things getting more and more interesting, we'll take the timeout. Hayes 5, Lone Star 2, but Lone Star still with the bases loaded. Nobody out.
BMA's residential cleaning service knows there's no place like home, especially when your home is cleaned by our experienced staff. From floor to ceiling, we've got you covered. Learn more at bmasclean.com. BMA's Cleaning Sports, PBS, Kansas. Seriously good TV.
Well, Hayes was cruising along through the first 5 innings of this contest, but now as we have gone into the 6th inning, things have gotten far more interesting now, and Adrian Nahar, a right-handed relief pitcher, has been called upon by the Larks to try and close the door on this Lonestar team. The bases are loaded, nobody out, in a 5-2 Hayes lead, and Nahar's first pitch is to Cato Robardi, and it's low for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. And I've touched on it throughout the tournament, but teams that are struggling are having all kinds of trouble throwing strikes, and that's starting to happen now with this Hayes team. Nolan Wilson, their starter, was very good for a while. He ran out of gas, and now Nahar is on. Here's a chopper over to second. The only throw will be to first. Reed makes it in time, 4-3 to first for the putout, but that's going to move the other runners up, including Ho, who comes in to score, and now it's a 5-3 Hayes lead on the bouncing ball for Robardi that will give him an RBI. And that's just the first out of the inning. So Ho scores, down to third base goes Gonzalez, down to second goes Jax Marshall. Now here is Kenner Lauterbach, the number 9 hitter in the order, with 2 in scoring position. And Lauterbach takes down low and a fastball at 89, 1 ball and no strikes. Adrian Nahar started his college career at Texas State, but since has moved on. Here's the pitch and the strike, and the count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. Lamar University is his most recent school. Nahar is listed as coming from DeSoto, Texas, but his high school is South Grand Prairie, which is right next door to DeSoto. Here's the 1-1. Chopped at the plate, foul. The count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Nahar will stretch. With runners at second and third, no chance for a double play. The infield is back at normal depth. Nobody holding either of the runners on, and the pitch. Change-up, swung on and missed, strike 3, and down he goes. And for some reason, Lauterbach is heading down to first base. I think he thought that ball might have bounced in, but it didn't. It was caught cleanly by Rios, and that's the second out of the inning. That was a very big strikeout there, because now they're 2 away, and that takes away the possibility of a sacrifice fly. So 2 outs now, back to the top of the order with JT Simonelli. Simonelli, first pitch swings and sends one back to the backstop. It's 0-1. Well, if you're on the East Coast or in the Central Time Zone, good morning. We are now after midnight. It is now turned into Tuesday morning. This game was scheduled to start at 8:30 Central Time. Well behind that because of a game before that went long. That's okay. We're glad to be here at midnight Central Time. The next pitch is high and away for a ball. The count is now 1 ball and 1 strike to JT Simonelli. Simonelli represents the go-ahead run. With his team down by 3, the tying run is in scoring position. That would be Jax Marshall out at second base. Here's the pitch outside. That was a changeup that stayed away, and the count is now 2 balls and 1 strike. Hayes a single run in the 5th, Lonestar a single run in the 5th, 2 here in the 6th. To pull within 2, 5-3. But they've got 2 in scoring position, and here's the pitch swung on and fouled. Straight back, and the count is now 2 balls and 2 strikes. So a single could tie the score. Jax Marshall at second base runs pretty well, so it wouldn't take a single very deep to bring him around from third and score. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the inning. Through the stretch goes Nahar, and here comes the pitch. Outside, and that's ball 3, and a bluff throw to third by Rios. Just to let Diego Gonzalez, the runner at third, know he's got his eyes on him. And Gonzalez scampers back. So the count's now full at 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on in a 2-run game. Nahar stretches. Here's the pitch. Chopped at the plate, foul. And Simonelli stays alive. It's still 3-2. Simonelli is 1 for 3, but his one hit was a double back in the 5th inning. Through the stretch goes Nahar. Here comes the 3-2 pitch and another one that's fouled back and out of play. JT Simonelli played last season at South Arkansas Community College. He will be heading to Natchitoches, Louisiana next season to play for Northwestern State of the Southland Conference. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch, another one that's sent back foul. And the count's still 3-2. If you can hear chatter, that is the dugout of this Lonestar team, as they are making a lot of noise trying to rally the troops. So far, it's helped some. They trail by 2. They still need another base hit here to tie or take the lead. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 called, and he knew it. A fastball at 87 right at the knees, and down goes Simonelli. Down goes Lonestar. They leave 2 in scoring position, which were the game-tying runs. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Hayes is holding on to a 5-3 lead.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford crew.
It's the summer sales event. Great time to buy. Nice weekend, Hank?
Spectacular. Took the family camping, courtesy of Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 48 years. Morgan?
Baseball tournament. My sport at the Holing Field.
How about you two?
Mud bath.
Get 0% APR financing with 0 down and 0 payments for up to 90 days on select Ford vehicles. Plus, get a complimentary maintenance plan for 24 months.
To the bottom of the 6th inning we go, on the top of the order for the Hayes Larks, now leading by just a 5-3 score, and it's left fielder Lane Sparks that will lead off. And Sparks watches the first pitch come inside for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Sparks, Trent Baker, and Jackson Babcock, the top 3 in the order for the Larks, leading 5-3. And here comes the pitch to Sparks, and he takes that on the inside edge. That's a strike. And that'll even things out now at 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's the pitch, down and away, and the count is now 2 balls and 1 strike. Cade Irons came on in relief in the last inning for Lonestar. He's out there now to start the bottom of the 6th, and he'll deliver a fastball that's fouled straight back, and the count is now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hayes 5 runs and just 5 hits tonight. Once again, drawing a lot of walks and not really exactly knocking the cover off the ball, but to their credit, they're up there patiently taking a lot of balls, drawing a lot of walks, and many times doing it with runners on base and in scoring position. But there's a swing and a miss and a strike three, and down goes Sparks. That's a big first out because that's the leadoff hitter, but there's now one away. So a nice job by Irons to get the leadoff batter in the order and the leadoff batter in the inning, Lane Sparks to strike out. Now here comes Trent Baker. Quiet night for Baker, 0 for 3. Irons stretches and deals, and Baker sends this one foul out of play over on the right side. 0-1. Baker, a right-handed hitter, with his back right foot just inside the line at the back of the batter's box, and here comes the pitch. Another one set foul, this one bouncing over toward the first base dugout. And the count is now no balls and 2 strikes. Trent Baker is from Montgomery, Texas. That's in the Houston area. He will play at Lamar University, which is as well. It's in Beaumont, technically, which is in the Houston area. Quite a few players in this tournament playing baseball at Lamar. Here's the pitch, up high for a ball. The count's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lamar is a university that has a lot of players in this tournament playing in it. Weatherford Junior College also has quite a few names that we've called from players that either have played there or will. A ball and 2 strikes, and here comes the pitch. That one inside, and it hit him. A changeup at 75 did probably sting a whole lot, and Baker's going to go down to first base after getting hit by a pitch, as that one just simply got away. So once again, another Hayes batter gets a free pass down to first base. Well, I don't know if they keep records for how many walks and hit batsmen are issued to a team as the throw goes over to first and back sliding in is Baker. But Hayes might be on the verge of setting or breaking some sort of record for the most free passes, whether walks or hit batsmen, issued in a tournament, because it's happened to them a ton. The pitch sliced down the left field line. That's going to slice foul and out of play. Chasing that one was Jax Marshall. It actually landed in the field of play, but on the warning track down in the corner. And Jax Marshall nearly knocked the door out and ran through it. Well, come on back, Jax. Need to work on the door down there in the left field corner. No balls and a strike. And there goes the runner. They might have him picked off, but the throw is wild. It heads down the right field line, and now down to third base is going to head Baker, and he'll get there safely. Oh, what a bad break there for Lonestar. Irons threw to first wildly just on a routine pickoff, and it was nowhere near first base, and it caromed off the backstop and trickled up the line down toward the right field bullpen, and an easy trip for Trent Baker down to third on an E1, which will be a 2-base error. Now the infield is drawn in for Lonestar, with Jackson Babcock at the plate, down in the count 0-1. Here comes the pitch. That one inside, and it's 1-1. There you can see the infield for Lonestar, knowing they can ill afford to give up another run, which would put them down 3 as we move towards the later innings. Here comes the 1-1 pitch, and that one is down low, and the count's 2-1. Jax Marshall running through the wall down in left field reminded me of a play in the minor leagues. A minor league baseball player named Rodney McRae in right field many years ago. Ran through the right field fence as the pitch is down low, 3-1. You can Google it. I believe he played for the Memphis Chicks. I could be wrong, but nonetheless, Rodney McRae, a right fielder for a minor league baseball team, went through the wooden fence in right field trying to chase down a fly ball. Probably hurt a lot more than the padding down there in left, though, for Jax Marshall. Here's the 3-1 pitch, fouled back and out of play. The count's now full at 3-2. Babcock hitless tonight. He has struck out, rounded into a fielder's choice, and grounded out as well. 3 balls and 2 strikes with the infield in and a runner at third. Here comes the pitch. Lifted into center field. This is well struck, and this will get the run home. Tracking back is Curtis. He'll make the catch, but an easy tag and score for Trent Baker. A sacrifice fly for Jackson Babcock. He'll get the RBI, and Hayes has doubled up Lonestar again. It's 6-3. Well, and if you're Jackson Babcock, you're not necessarily asked to come through with the big hit. Your team is already up. Just get the runner around, and that's exactly what he did with an RBI sacrifice fly. So now here's Brady Kreutzer. And Kreutzer takes one way high and outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. What is it they like to say in baseball? Get him on, get him in, and get him on, get him over, and get him in. And that's what happened with Baker. Hit by a pitch, moved to third on a 2-base error, and then a sacrifice fly. No big doubles or triples or extra base hits. Just get him on, get him over, and get him in. Strike taken by Kreutzer, and the count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. Kreutzer has been walked twice tonight and scored both times. 1-1, and the pitch. Big swing and a miss there. He's down to the count 1-2. This Hayes team, in this tournament at least, is living proof of why walks can just be so devastating to a team. Veteran players know how to capitalize when you give them free passes, and Hayes has done that throughout the tournament so far. Here's the pitch, fouled back and out of play. One remedy for success in this game is not even necessarily to have the big power hitters. Just have guys that consistently put the ball in play and make the defense make a play. But another thing you can do is capitalize on mistakes, and Hayes has certainly done their share of that in this tournament. A ball and 2 strikes, and here comes the pitch. Strike 3 called, and Kreutzer didn't like it, but down he goes looking. He'll have a few words for Chris Dykman, but a strikeout looking. We will head to the 7th inning, though, and the Larks have built back a 3-run lead.
Love was nearly lost until Pizza Hut showed up.
Go get her. Hi, I'm Peter.
Looks like a meat lover's Deborah.
Pizza Hut's hooking everyone up with more of what they love. Choose from 4 Hut Lovers pizzas starting at $12.99 each. Order on the app.
When you look for a place to learn, train, and grow, you need something that fits with your life. At Butler Community College, we want you to reach your goals in the most affordable way possible. That's why we keep our tuition rates low, so you don't have to stress about your future.
It's why we offer hundreds of scholarship opportunities for pursuing your passion.
And it's why we work hard to provide a professional higher education at a lower price tag. Butler Community College. Real college, really affordable.
Well, Lonestar got some momentum in the last inning that they just gave away in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Now back up in the 7th, down by 3, 6-3, and Chase Penley will lead things off against Adrian Nahar, and Nahar delivers an 87-mile-an-hour fastball across the plate for a strike. No balls and 1 strike to Chase Penley. Here's the 0-1, another fastball at 88, but that one just outside. To the right-handed hitter, Lorenzo Rios tried to frame it, but it missed away, 1-1. Nahar set and delivers the 1-1. And that one way outside, no question about that. 2 balls and a strike. 6 runs on 5 hits for the Hayes Larks. Two and 1. And a swing and a foul back to the screen, and the count's now even at 2-2. 3 runs in the contest for Lonestar. They have committed an error. The Kraken had done a good job defensively before tonight of not committing errors. In fact, that is just their 2nd of the tournament. High bouncing ball on the next pitch. Nahar is going to field his position, moving towards first base. He catches the high bouncing ball and an underhand toss to first for a 1-3 putout and 1 away. Well, that's one thing you love to see as a coach, is a pitcher that can field his position. And Nahar did it very well right there for the first out of the inning. So here's Josh Livingston now, the second baseman, who's had a tough night tonight, 0 for 3. The left-handed hitter takes the first pitch, a fastball on the outside part at 89 miles an hour, and it's 0-1. Livingston very familiar with this ballpark. He played in the last 2 seasons here at Wichita State. The pitch outside for a ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Put up some very good numbers he did as well. 276 with 26 home runs and 87 runs batted in. He is transferring, though, and will play next at the University of Texas as he slices this one foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Great tradition here at Wichita State. Of course, they have a College World Series championship to their credit a few decades ago. A ball and 2 strikes, and here's the pitch. Boy, Lorenzo Rios thought that was strike 3. I think a lot of people did. He was ready to fire it around the horn, and Chris Dykman says, no, you don't. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Nahar will try it again at 2-2. Here's the pitch, swung on and lifted into center field. Pretty well struck. The center fielder Duncan going back at the warning track, the wall. He leaps, and that ball is out of here. A solo home run and a long one to the deepest part of the ballpark for Josh Livingston. And Lonestar has pulled it within 2. Now it's 6-4. It is 390 feet to straightaway center field, and that ball wasn't to straightaway center, but it was close to it. And Caleb Duncan, a very athletic move out in center field, he leaped and tried to bring it back in, but you can see, mistimed his jump a little, but even if he did time it perfectly, that one was out of here and a home run. Now the first pitch to Preston Curtis is a ball, 1 ball and no strike. That is the 15th home run of the tournament. That means $1,500 for Kansas teachers in our Home Runs for Teachers charity that the NBC is putting on during this tournament. And we are only a few days in. We've got until Saturday to add to that $1,500 total. A ball and a strike, and the pitch is chopped foul by Preston Curtis, and now it's 1-2. The interesting thing about that home run to center field by Josh Livingston is this. He played at Wichita State this past season, as I mentioned. So did the center fielder Caleb Duncan, who tried to leap and bring it back in. Swing and a miss, strike 3. A nice breaking ball that time by Nahar, and he gets Preston Curtis, a strikeout swinging victim, for the second out of the inning. So a Wichita State shocker from this past season just stroked a home run to center field over the wall, and the center fielder that tried to rob him of it was one of his teammates, Caleb Duncan, who came up empty. So a couple of ex-shockers involved in that. Now, here's Ho at the plate, who swings at the first pitch and misses. 1 ball and no strikes. Ethan Ho is singled and walked in the contest, and now he's down in the count 0-2. 6-4 our score, though, is that solo home run by Livingston has made things a little more interesting. Now a change and a swing and a miss. Ho was fooled on the off-speed stuff, and down he goes, but a solo home run by Josh Livingston has pulled Lonestar within 2 as we stretch in Wichita. Hayes 6, Lonestar 4.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford crew.
It's the summer sales event. Great time to buy. Nice weekend, Hank?
Spectacular. Took the family camping, courtesy of Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 48 years. Morgan?
Baseball tournament. Mike Sport with the whole infield.
How about you two?
Mud bath.
Get 0% APR financing with 0 down and 0 payments for up to 90 days on select Ford vehicles. Plus, get a complimentary maintenance plan for 24 months.
Bryce McGuire from Arkansas Monticello is the new pitcher for Lone Star, with his team trailing the Hayes Larks by the score of 6-4 as we start the bottom half of inning number 7. Lorenzo Rios leads off the inning for Hayes and takes a fastball outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. McGuire is a tall right-handed pitcher who works from the windup out of relief and delivers a slider that's down and in. And the count is now 2 balls and no strikes. 6-4 is our score. Hayes with the lead. Every time the Hayes get a little momentum, or they've built maybe a 3-4 run lead, which happened earlier, Lone Star scores just enough runs to make this thing interesting, and it is now at 6-4 in the bottom of the 7th inning. For example, Hayes jumped out to a 3-0 lead after 1 inning. Lonestar answered back with a run in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, but Hayes has started to find their rhythm as well offensively. And there's a ball, and again, and the count's now 3-0. McGuire delivers the 3-0. This one is swung on and fouled straight back. Well, that's interesting. Lorenzo Rios swinging with the green light and the count 3-0, but he fouls it back and it's 3-1. Six runs on 5 hits for Hayes, 4 runs and 6 hits for Lonestar. Here's the pitch swung on and a bouncing ball out to second. Livingston is there. He'll throw to first in time for a 4-3 put out, 1 away. Well, we are still in pool play, and it's the second to the last night of pool play, but this game has semifinal or Saturday championship game intensity to it. And it's understandable. Both of these teams are 2-0. They travel pretty well, especially Hayes, not too far from Wichita. Certainly not compared to Texas. Here's the first pitch, a slider in to Caleb Duncan for a strike, 0-1. But you get the funny feeling that between the reputation Hayes has year in and year out, they are the defending champs, and the talent on this Lonestar team, they could very well be around again on Friday and Saturday, either of them or both. There's a swing and a miss, and the count's now no balls and 2 strikes to Caleb Duncan. The pitch outside, that's a ball, and the count's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bryce McGuire out of Ruston, Louisiana, the home of Louisiana Tech, but he is pitching collegiately again at Arkansas Monticello. Here's the pitch. That one just misses outside at 81. Ethan Hote framed it, but on the outside part of the plate, or too far outside technically, and it's now 2 balls and 2 strikes. McGuire set through the windup and delivers a 2-2, and this one is cue-stick foul just outside the line at first base. And the count holds at 2-2. TPA Texas and the GPS Legends will get it started tomorrow at noon. Of course, you can catch all of the action here at the NBC World Series YouTube channel, but those two teams doing battle at noon. The pitch is chopped foul down the third base side. You can catch every game of this tournament right now, right where you're watching it now at the NBC YouTube channel. Tomorrow at 3, it's the BTL Hornets and the Derby Twins. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count at the plate to Caleb Duncan. McGuire threw the windup and pitches way outside. Fastball at 86. And the counts run full at 3-2. Tomorrow is the final day of pool play. These teams are in Pool A, and this is the final game of pool play for them. As this pitch is swung on and lifted high in the air to left field. Pretty well struck. Marshall is back at the warning track where he hauls that one in for a long fly ball to left field. But it's an out for Caleb Duncan, and that's the second out of the inning. Boy, Duncan gave that one a ride high and deep to left field. Normally, if it were earlier in the day, there's a good chance the wind would be blowing out that direction where that could have been a home run. But at 12:36 in the morning, not much wind, and that one died harmlessly at the warning track where Jax Marshall hauled it in. So 2 up, 2 down now for Thomas Lissy. And the first pitch from McGuire to Lissy is a changeup at 77, and it's a ball inside, 1 ball and no strikes. The Seattle Blackfins and Oklahoma MVP are the other 2 teams in this pool that these 2 teams are in, as the 1-0 pitch is fouled back to the screen. Seattle knocked off Oklahoma MVP earlier in the day. And so Seattle has advanced to elimination play that starts on Wednesday. Oklahoma is through. And they are most likely back in Oklahoma. A ball and a strike. Here's the pitch. Lined into right center field. That's down. That'll be a base hit. Curtis over to cut it off. A big turn at first by Lissy, but he'll stop there with a 2-out single. And that's his first hit of the night. That'll bring up shortstop Tabor Stokes. Well, with 2 outs, we'll see if Lissy is trying to steal and get into scoring position with 2 away. Very experienced player for this Larks team. Played for the championship team last year. As the pitch to Stokes comes in high and gets back to the backstop, a very wild pitch. It goes all the way to the screen, and they don't need to worry about a stolen base. Lissy advances to second on a wild pitch. And 1 ball and no strikes to Tabor Stokes. And that's going to draw a timeout, and one of the coaches for Lonestar is out of the dugout. There's been some activity in the Lonestar bullpen, and we'll see if a pitching change is going to be made or if this is just to rally the troops on the infield. Looks like McGuire will stay, just got a little bit of a pep talk. So 1 ball and no strikes to count to Tabor Stokes, and he's back in with a runner at second base. Hayes leading by the score of 6-4, trying to look for a little 7th inning insurance. Here's the pitch from McGuire to Stokes. Swung on the ground, bouncing ball to third. Diving to his left is Lauterbach. He'll field and throw to first. It's not in time. The ball squirts away from Simonelli, but staying at third base is going to be Lissy. Well, that was a great diving play by Lauterbach at third. He threw to first, and the throw was a little bit outside of the bag. Simonelli had to reach out for it and couldn't quite come up with it. It trickled away from him, and you wondered if Lissy might try to go home, but with just, well, there are 2 outs in the inning, so you thought that maybe he might gamble, but they didn't, so it's first and third. Especially with the number 9 hitter up, C.J. Reed, but he takes for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. But that's where you might see a runner at third gamble when a ball gets away from the first baseman with 2 outs. Especially with the number 9 hitter up. Here's the pitch to Reed. Inside, that one gets away, and now here comes Lissy, and indeed he will score. Sliding home safely on one that trickled away from Ho, and it's a 7-4 Hayes lead. Well, I mentioned earlier the experience of Thomas Lissy playing with this championship team last year and playing in the Southland Conference with Incarnate Word. The guy's got some savvy, and he knew that that was the right opportunity to go, and he took advantage. Now here's the pitch, swung on and fouled, back to the screen to C.J. Reed, and Reed now with a 2 ball and 1 strike count. McGuire through the stretch, checks the runner at second, nobody holding him on. And now he's going to third as the pitch is swung on and fouled back to the screen as Hayes had some hit and run action there with the runner not from first to second, but from second to third. But it was fouled back to the screen. It would be real interesting. It's going to be, we're going to do it to see how many runs batted in Hayes has in this tournament. The number of RBIs Hayes has in this tournament compared to the number of runs scored is going to be very small. Here's the pitch, a swing and a miss. The runner was moving again, but a strikeout, and down goes C.J. Reed, and down go the Larks, but not before they add to their lead. We go to the 8th, Hayes 7, Lonestar 4.
There's something happening in Wichita. Excitement, movement, a vibe. a city that offers amazing experiences delivered with heart. Come see the place we love. We think you'll love it too. Discover more at visitwichita.com.
Have you ever needed to stop or change the way you do something you love because of aches, pains, or injury? The physical therapists at Select Physical Therapy are here to get you back to work, life, and your favorite activities. Most importantly, your goals are their goals. Their movement experts will listen and develop an individualized treatment plan so you can heal. Begin care faster by requesting an appointment today at selectphysicaltherapy.com. Experience the power of physical therapy at Select Physical Therapy.
Welcome back to X Stadium. Here's the play earlier. Jax Marshall, left fielder for Lonestar, crashed through the wall and decided, what the heck, I'll pick up this foul ball as he ran into the fence and opened the wall. And I referenced earlier Rodney McRae, minor leaguer many years ago. I think this was back in the 90s. And he chased this fair ball and ran right through the fence. Watch this. Crashing through a wooden fence to try and catch that one. And when that happened to Marshall, it reminded me of Rodney McRae. And if you Google Rodney McRae, that's the play you'll see. Now, there was a Rodney McRae that played in the NBA, not the same guy. Rodney McRae in the minor leagues took this hit with a wooden fence trying to catch a fly ball to right field. All right, great job by our crew to get into the archives and dig that one up. Here we go, 8th inning, Lonestar at the plate, trailing 7-4. And Adrian Nahar is out for his 3rd inning of work, now trying to keep his team up by 3 runs. And Nahar is looking right now at Diego Gonzalez, the designated hitter for Lonestar, and Nahar is down on the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Nahar set and delivers, and that one hit him. Well, Nahar was very good when he came on, but all of a sudden now he throws 2 balls and then hits the batter on the 3rd pitch. So you wonder how much he has left in the tank. He was hitting 90 miles an hour when he came in, but how long can that last? There is activity down in the Hayes bullpen. I guess we will find out shortly. Nahar will work from the stretch. Here's Jax Marshall, the left fielder, who we saw run into the wall in foul territory moments ago and open it up. There's a strike by Nahar, and it's 0-1. 7-4 is our score. Hayes with the lead. It's been a good one tonight, as expected from Wichita. Each team with 6 hits. But Hayes has outscored Lonestar by 3. This one's inside, and Marshall is claiming that it hit him. But Chris Dykman, the home plate umpire, says no, it didn't, and you're going to come back. You have to clarify now anymore whether there's replay or not. In the NBC, there's no replay, so whatever the umpires call is the final determination. Here's the pitch, swung on and lifted into shallow right center field. Lane Sparks moves over and he makes the catch. And there's one away. Here's the replay again, and a little difficult to tell right there whether it did or not. Marshall sure tried to sell it, but he didn't get very far. So now here's Cato Ribardi, the right fielder, with a runner at first, 1 away, left-handed batter with Lonestar trailing by the score of 7-4. And the first pitch to Ribardi is on the outside part, or at least attempted to be, but it is outside, 1 ball and no strikes. You get the feeling that Lonestar realizes they need to try and gain some ground here, because the closer for Hayes will come in the 9th inning if this is still a 3-run game. The pitch down and inside for a ball, 2-0. If it's not a 3-run game, that means Hayes is going to score in the bottom of the 8th inning, which would only spell more trouble for Lonestar. So they really desperately need to try and find a way to manage some runs here. A very soft throw over to first, and back in easily is Diego Gonzalez. So 2 balls and no strikes. Here's the pitch. A fastball that's high, and the count's now 3-0. Through the stretch, Nahar, the 3-0 pitch, and that one is down and in, ball 4. And that's going to bring the tying run to the plate for Lonestar as things, again, getting interesting here tonight as Hayes cannot shake this pesky Lonestar team. There was activity a little bit ago in the Hayes bullpen. There's not now, but perhaps whoever was warming up is now ready to go. But things starting to get really interesting with the tying run out at the plate. It is Kenner Lauterbach, and he is the number 9 hitter in the order. But if he gets aboard, it'll be interesting to see what happens next. Infield looks for a double play for Hayes with 1 out and runners at first and second. The pitch is down and in for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. That one at 89 miles an hour. Another one that misses, and the count's now 2 balls and no strikes. Lissy about even with the bag at third. The rest of the infield plays deep, and the pitch swung on and fouled back to the screen. And the count's now 2 balls and 1 strike. 7-4, Hayes with the lead. In the top of the 8th inning. But Lonestar threatening here. With runners at first and second and the tying run, the potential tying run at the plate. And here's the pitch. Down low, and that's ball 3, and the count's now 3-1. Now there's more activity down in the Hayes bullpen. There was some activity moments ago. It stopped, and now it started again with what appears to be Nahar nearing the end of the line for him. 3 balls and a strike, and here comes the pitch. And that one misses as well. There's ball 4, and indeed they are loaded up. So the question is somebody going to leave the dugout for Hayes? Here they come. A pitching change about to be made. No surprise there. When Nahar came on, he was very good, but he ran out of gas quickly, and the bases are loaded for Lonestar here in the top of the 8th inning. They'll have the potential go-ahead run at the plate when we return with Hayes leading by 3.
BMA's residential cleaning service knows there's no place like home, especially when your home is cleaned by our experienced staff. From floor to ceiling, we've got you covered. Learn more at bmasclean.com. BMA's Cleaning Sports, PBS, Kansas. Seriously good TV.
Julio Ramos is the relief pitcher that's into the game now for the Hayes Larks. And when Hayes came from behind to win the game on Saturday over Oklahoma 9-8, Ramos was the last pitcher that came into the game. And he pitched an inning, gave up a hit, but he also struck out 2. And he certainly is the player that set the table for the bats to come up and finish off that game in the top of the 9th inning. As he really mowed down the Oklahoma MVP players for the save. It was actually Watson that got the win for Hayes, but Ramos came on then in the 9th and got the save. He can throw some gas. Out of New Mexico State University, the first pitch is at 90 miles an hour, but a little high, 1 ball and no strikes. Lonestar Kraken has him loaded. With only 1 out, top of the 8th inning, they trail by 3, 7-4. Ramos is ready and delivers, and the next pitch is in there for a strike. A little bit off on that one at 88, but it's now 1 ball and 1 strike. Ramos set and delivers, and a swing and a miss again. JT Simonelli, an accomplished hitter in his own right, can't keep up with the gas, and it's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ramos set and delivers the 1-2. Swung on and fouled, backing out of play. Ramos pitched the 8th inning in the game that Hayes played the other night against Oklahoma MVP, and he mowed him down, and then that set the table for the top of the 9th when Hayes scored 6 runs. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And that one a little bit up high, and the count's now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Seven to 4, Hayes with the lead. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Down goes JT Simonelli. And a huge strikeout there. There's 2 away. Well, that's the leadoff hitter. Ordinarily a good contact hitter. Somebody that can at least, you would hope, put the ball in play and, if nothing else, get 1 run home. Maybe by a sacrifice fly, but instead a strikeout swinging, and now 2 away for Chase Robardi, who takes the ball, 1 ball and no strikes. .89 miles an hour. That one in there for a strike, and the count's now even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Ramos from Nogales, Arizona. Delivers and misses here, and the count's now 2 balls and 1 strike. He works from the windup, regardless of the situation. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled back to the screen, or I should say regardless of this situation. Bases are loaded, but 2 away. His focus is solely on the hitter, and why not? He's 1 strike away from getting Hayes out of the inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, but the bases are loaded. The go-ahead run potentially is at the plate. Ramos is ready, gets the signal, winds, and delivers the 2-2, and there is strike 3 called. He throws Penley at the plate, and down he goes. Lonestar strings 3, which would have tied the game. They go to the bottom of the 8th, Hayes 7 and Lonestar 4. On to the bottom of the 8th inning we go. The Hayes Larks leading by 3, looking to pad their lead, and they'll see a new pitcher as they try to do that. Nick Fine is a right-handed pitcher out of Blinn Junior College that the Larks will see. It's the top of the order for Hayes, Lane Sparks, and the first pitch to Sparks is a strike, 0-1. Fine is 5'6", 165 pounds, out of Prosper, Texas, and will attend Blinn Junior College, and he delivers a strike on the outside edge. Boy, I think that the Larks thought that was outside. In fact, Lane Sparks steps out. He wants to adjust his batting gloves, and I think it's probably just to regain his composure because he and the Hayes dugout and some of the fans for Hayes thought that was outside, and it sure looked like it from here, but it was called a strike, 0-2. Now Sparks is back into the left-handed batter's box, down in the count, 0-2, and Fine delivers, and this one is on the inside corner for a strike, strike 3. So Sparks got caught looking, strike 2 on the outside edge, according to Chris Dykman anyway. Then strike 3 did appear to be on the inside edge, and there's one up, one down, and that'll bring up Trent Baker. Nick Fine originally attended South Arkansas Community College, where he had 3 appearances in just 2 2/3 innings this past season. He delivers a slider here to Trent Baker that's inside for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. But again, he'll be heading to Blinn Junior College next season. A ball and no strikes, Fine ready, delivers. He works from the windup and throws a slider that misses down and away. 2 balls and no strikes. Blinn Junior College, very near College Station, the home of Texas A&M. 2-0, and here comes the pitch. And that one stays inside. A changeup at 74, and the count's now 3-0. I mentioned earlier in the tournament, it wasn't when Lonestar was playing, but one of the most well-known names to come out of Blinn Junior College was Cam Newton. The pitch, outside, ball 4, and on a 4-pitch walk, down to first base goes Trent Baker. So Fine looked very good against Lane Sparks, caught him looking, but the very next batter, Trent Baker, takes a base on balls. So he'll head down to first base. And that'll bring up Jackson Babcock. Play will begin at noon tomorrow, the final day of pool play at this 91st NBC World Series. TPA Texas will take on the GPS Legends. Then at 3 o'clock, the BTL Hornets and the Derby Twins. All the action tomorrow from pools C and D. So Jackson Babcock is in. There was a brief conversation out on the mound. Now we're set to go. Fine will work from the stretch now with a runner at first base. And Fine delivers home, and the pitch is chopped over toward the first base side, and it's just foul. And Simonelli, boy, did he have a great idea. It just didn't work out. JT Simonelli at first base tried to straddle the line, keep his foot on the bag at first, and hopefully try and start a double play. However, according to Mark Wagers, the ball had already gone foul before he caught the ball, straddling the bag, or straddling the line, I should say, with his foot on the bag at first base. So the count, no balls and 1 strike to Jackson Babcock. Fine through the stretch, checks the runner at first, over his left shoulder, there he goes, and the pitch is inside. The throw down to second base will not be in time. There is a stolen base for Trent Baker. So Hayes, continuing to stay aggressive, gets a stolen base here, and now a runner in scoring position with 1 away. And the count at the plate, 1 ball and 1 strike to Jackson Babcock. Now Babcock is, the runner, Baker is trying to steal third, and he will. An easy swipe of third. Baker has stolen second and third in consecutive pitches. That one was one that missed away, and Baker now is down at third base. Now the infield for Lonestar is drawn in with a runner at third and one away. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Down and in for a ball. And the count's 3-1. There you see the Lonestar infield already down 3. They don't want to come up down in the bottom of the ninth any more than that, so they'll play in, trying to cut off the run. 3 balls and a strike, and here comes the pitch. Up high, ball 4. So down to first base goes Jackson Babcock. That could set up a potential double play that would get Lonestar out of the inning. So we'll see how a runner at first base changes things. In fact, the middle infielders will retreat back deep. See if they can get a double play. Lonestar, or excuse me, Hayes is going to get a pinch hitter up to the plate now. And it looks like that's Wilbur Espinal. Espinal played Saturday. He's out of Alabama State. He's going to be a pinch hitter for Logan Kreutzer, or Brady Kreutzer, excuse me. And Espinal takes the first pitch in for a strike, 0-1. A changeup at 73 miles an hour. Espinal was 2 for 5 on Thursday. He was 0 for 2 Saturday. He takes inside for a ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Espinal hit .302 with 8 home runs and 38 runs batted in at Alabama State over the last 2 seasons. And he takes a strike at the knees here, and it's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. So a very accomplished hitter at the collegiate level. And now a chance here to try and improve on his team's 3-run lead with a runner at third and 1 away. Also a runner at first. And here comes Fine's pitch. A big swing and a miss. Strike 3, and down goes Espinal. It was interesting because he was pinch hitting for the cleanup hitter Brady Kreutzer. But he comes up empty, so 2 outs. Now it's up to Lorenzo Rios if Hayes is to build on their 3-run lead. And Rios' first pitch swings and lines one foul, but hooks it into the bullpen down the right field line, occupied by some relief pitchers for Lonestar. So the count is 0-1 to Rios. Rios was hit by a pitch in the first inning with the bases loaded, so he's got an RBI. And he took one the hard way. 0-1, and the pitch. Change up, swung on and missed, and the count's now 0-2. He was really off balance on that one. It was down and in, and Rios smiling after that one as he knew he got fooled badly. So the count's now 0 balls and 2 strikes. There goes the runner from first, and the pitch swung on and missed. Strike 3. And down goes Rios, and down go the Larks with 2 stranded. We go to the 9th with Hayes leading by 3.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford crew.
It's the summer sales event. Great time to buy. Nice weekend, Hank?
Spectacular. Took the family camping, courtesy of Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 48 years. Morgan?
Baseball tournament. My sport with the whole infield.
How about you two?
My bass.
Get 0% APR financing with 0 down and 0 payments for up to 90 days on select Ford vehicles. Plus, get a complimentary maintenance plan for 24 months.
Nick Fine came on in relief in the bottom of the 8th inning, and although he got into a little damage with 2 runners on, when you look back at all, he struck out the side. So now we go to the 9th inning, and back out there for his 2nd inning of work is Julio Ramos. Ramos, the hard-throwing right-hander from Nogales, Arizona, pitching collegiately at New Mexico State, makes an appearance again here tonight, and he's been busy in this tournament as Ramos has pitched in 2 of the 3 games in this tournament. He got the save on Saturday in the win over Oklahoma MVP, the comeback win, and now he's out there again 2 nights later trying to close the door on Lonestar in a game that would be another save situation for Ramos, being that his team starts this half inning only up by 3 runs. He'll have his work cut out for them. The tough part of the lineup for Lonestar, 3, 4, and 5, Josh Livingston, Preston Curtis, and Ethan Ho, and then if anybody gets aboard, Diego Gonzalez. So Livingston steps in against Ramos, who works from the windup. Ramos is ready, and the first pitch of the top of the 9th is a fastball in there for a strike, 0-1. Ramos set and delivers the 0-1, and that one up high at 89, but too high, 1 ball and 1 strike. A ball and a strike, Ramos set and delivers the 1-1. And that one just a bit high, maybe outside, and the count's now 2 balls and 1 strike. Seven runs, 6 hits for Hayes, 4 runs, 6 hits for Lonestar. Here's the pitch. Oh, he tried to paint the outside edge and just missed. At 82 miles an hour, Chris Dykman says no, and the count's now 3 balls and 1 strike. And here comes the 3-1 pitch. That's up high, ball 4. So a 5-pitch walk issued to Josh Livingston, and he'll trot down to first base. Well, if you're down by 3 runs in the top of the 9th inning, that's exactly the way you'd like to see an inning start. A walk to the leadoff hitter that will bring your cleanup hitter to the plate, Preston Curtis. Curtis has a base hit tonight in the 6th inning. He also stole second in that inning. And the first pitch to him is lifted into shallow right field. The second baseman, C.J. Reed, going back, and Reed tracks it down. 1 pitch, 1 out to Preston Curtis with a runner at first base. And that'll get Ethan Ho up to the plate. So after the struggles for Ramos with the first batter, Livingston, he makes very quick work of Preston Curtis, and now Ho steps in. Ethan Ho has 1 base hit on the night, and he'll swing at the first pitch and send it foul. 0-1 to Ho. Ho singled in the 2nd inning, then walked in the 6th inning. When he walked in the 6th inning, he came around to score. He is 1 for 3 overall. Ramos goes behind the mound, picks up the rosin bag and shakes it around a little bit in his right throwing hand. Now he's back and makes a snap throw to first. And back diving in is Josh Livingston. Now Ramos will stretch and deliver. And the pitch high and tight for a ball. And the count's now 1 ball and 1 strike. Hayes trying to advance to elimination play with a 3-0 record. Lonestar is too, but the advantage is Hayes right now, leading by 3 in the top of the 9th inning. The pitch is swung on and fouled over the screen, out of play again, and the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Again, Lone Star is moving on to elimination play no matter what. The question tonight would be, would they be 2-1 or 3-0? 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch. Fastball up high. That one again at 89. Ramos has been consistent. Just about every fastball he's thrown has been at 89 miles an hour. Now he'll throw over to first. And back again, diving in, is Josh Livingston. Ramos stretches and throws. And the pitch swung on and lifted, pretty well struck. Right center field, drifting over is Duncan, the center fielder. He'll move under it in right center field and make the catch. And there's out number 2. Well, Ho hit that one well, but got under it a little too much, and that gave Duncan plenty of time to range back to his left and make the catch for a long fly ball, and out number 2. And now Lone Star is down to their final out, and that's going to be Diego Gonzalez. Gonzalez, a left-handed batter against a right-handed pitcher in Ramos, and Ramos delivers a strike. And again, at 89 miles an hour. Boy, he's consistent. No balls and 1 strike. Ramos set again. And the 0-1. And there's another fastball, and that one called a strike. And guess what? The scoreboard says 89 miles an hour. No balls and 2 strikes. Hayes 1 strike away from a 3-0 start to the tournament. The stretch and the pitch. Swung on and lifted. Foul and out of play behind the backstop. And we'll try it again. The radar gun on the, at least the display, said 89 again. Either that's broke or Ramos is incredibly consistent. No balls and 2 strikes. Runner at first. 7-4. Hayes with the lead, trying to finish it off in the pitch. A little flare out into shallow center field, and the shortstop leaps, and Stokes makes the catch, and that's the ball game. A leaping catch by Tabor Stokes at shortstop, and he holds it in to end this one. The final score, Hayes 7 and Lone Star 4. What a catch by Tabor Stokes. Behind the bag at second, leaping in the air like a wide receiver in the end zone. He goes up and gets it, catching it with one hand, and Hayes wins by 3. So it's time now for our play and player of the game, as the Larks have some high fives around the pitcher's mound. But a very good night for Hayes tonight against what is a very good Lone Star team. But Hayes comes away with the victory, and it's time now for our player of the game. And it's going to be the starting pitcher for Hayes, Nolan Wilson. Why not? Pitching has not been great in this tournament overall as you look from team to team. But Nolan Wilson came in, and he really set the tone for this Hayes team that helped keep the bats of Lone Star in check. And Nolan Wilson is our player of the game. Now it's time for our play of the game. And in this one, it was going to be that shot to center field that was over the fence out in center field. A valiant effort by the center fielder, Preston Curtis for Hayes, or Caleb Duncan, excuse me. But it was a home run to straightaway center field, and that was our play of the game, as it was courtesy of Lone Star, but they come up short tonight. Josh Livingston's home run to center, our play of the game, that Preston Curtis could not quite come up with. But Hayes gets the victory by the score of 7-4. Hayes is 3-0 in pool play. They'll enter elimination play undefeated. Lone Star, a very good team. They could still make some noise. They're moving on as well. Until noon tomorrow, we'll talk to you later. Steve Strain saying so long and good morning from Wichita.
Come on. Come on. I'm baby. Hey, Poker, $10 buy-in. Yeah, put up the highlight movie. On me in. I'm going straight to bed. Straight to start. That actually have ball game. Hey, because the only thing open right now to eat at is the casino. True. True, but I'm 20. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Yeah, you know what that means, damn it, dude. I was I don't think anybody's hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This? Yeah. Oh, get there, hold on. Oh my God. The only thing open is right now? Come on. Hey, did he get the stroke? Come on, please. Oh no. Come on. Oh no. Oh, we need that video. We need that video. That was the latest thing I've ever seen. That was the latest thing I've ever seen, man. Come on with it. They got it.
Hey, screw that team, man. No. Hey, what do you say? What do you say?
He said, everyone asks when you'll see me sit Nick. Hey, who? You? Everyone asks except Nick.
Yeah.
Please. Help on the equipment. Help on the equipment.